Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all, and we got a lot to cover today. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Okay, so President Trump made just a great announcement yesterday about the burning of the American flag. And, you know, President Trump, we often say in MAGA world, that President Trump is always 5 to 10 moves ahead of the other side. Most of the time, it's not just that he's 5 or 10 moves ahead. The other side don't even know what it is that he's up to, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment or two when we get through this. But first, I want to play the president talking about this. This is the president. And this is in the Oval Office yesterday talking about flag burning.
What the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
Okay. Yeah, a year in jail for burning the flag. And of course, the left and some conservatives who have, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are the conservative MAGA influencers that are fake MAGA, not really conservative. And every once in a while, you get to, they out themselves through their own stupidity because they say things with an immediate response for views, clicks, and retweets and all this stuff. And they blow their cover from time to time. We're going to go through this. So immediately, what liberals and some conservative influencers, which we'll go over some soon, will say, well, that's free speech, burning the flag. Really? You know, there was a guy arrested yesterday for burning a flag in front of the White House. He was arrested by the Uniformed Secret Service. You may have seen it online. I'm certain it'll be in the news today. And he was looked like a fake veteran, fake conservative. He was wearing clothes that made him look like he was a conservative. He wasn't wearing a MAGA hat, but he was wearing like paramilitary clothes and then he burned this flag right there on the sidewalk, and he poured something on it to help it burn, and then he burned it, and then he got arrested. Now, first of all, who burns the flag of the United States, and why are they doing it? That's the first thing, right? And when people go out and burn the American flag, it's not. I'll use a liberal term. While it is a form of expression, which you may define as speech, what kind of speech is burning the flag? I don't think people really thought about this, and I'll tell you what kind of speech it is. You know what kind of speech it is? It's called hate speech. It's called hate speech. Go out and burn any other type of flag and see what happens. If you went out today, like this guy that's getting all this support who burned the flag of the United States of America on the sidewalk in front of the White House yesterday, and all these people are saying, free speech, what's going on? What would happen if you took a Mexican flag in the same city, Washington, D.C., and burned it on the sidewalk in front of the Mexican embassy? What would they do to you? You get arrested. What if you went to the NAACP headquarters in Washington, D.C., and you burned a Black Lives Matter flag? What would happen? You'd get arrested. What would happen if you went to whatever the leading gay rights organization is in Washington, D.C., I guess like the Human Rights Foundation or something, one of those lobby groups, and you burned a rainbow flag or a transgender flag on the sidewalk in front of the gay rights organization? You'd get arrested. So, and you know, there's other examples, and we've seen this happen. And people have gotten arrested and charged with hate crimes. So why is burning the flag of the United States of America free speech and acceptable, but burning these other flags gets you arrested and charged with hate crimes? Well, the reason that is because the American left hate this country, and they want to burn all of the United States down. And they think that burning the flag of the United States is acceptable and okay because they hate the country. And shouldn't it all be burned down? That's why. And these other organizations, they like. You know, another thing they say is this. Well, no, the Supreme Court upheld that. Well, not really. I did some looking this up this morning. People say a lot of things. By the way, you're welcome to call in. This is the early pre-show. Radio show doesn't start for a little more than 30 minutes, so this is the pre-show. So if you'd like to call in, the number's the same, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I did some looking up here, and let me pull this up about what the Supreme Court said about burning the flag. Let me pull this up, because there's people say, well, the Supreme Court upheld it. Okay, I pulled it up. And I just did a quick Google search a little while ago on this, and this all came up. I'm no legal scholar. I don't have a law degree. I'm not an attorney or anything else, but I got a basic understanding of things. And listen to this. This is the Supreme Court of the United States ruling about flag burning. Okay, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled multiple times that burning the American flag is a form of protected speech under the First Amendment. They say, even if many people see it as deeply offensive. Key cases, there's a couple key cases. One was in 1989, and one was in 1990. The first one in 1989, Texas versus Johnson. The Supreme Court struck down a Texas law banning flag desecration. Justice William Brennan wrote for the majority that government cannot prohibit expression simply because society finds it offensive or disagreeable. Then there was another case in 1990, the United States versus Eichmann. The Supreme Court reaffirmed the decision, striking down a federal law that criminalized flag burning. While the rulings basically say, yes, burning the U.S. flag is offensive, but the Constitution protects it as free expression, that means protesters can legally burn the flag as a political statement, but they cannot be punished just for offending others. However, this goes on. Now, this is the however part. This is in the Supreme Court ruling, and this is the part that the news are leaving out. And, of course, all these idiots that are saying free speech, they don't know. All they know is, they heard somebody say the court said free speech and it's protected. But here's the end. Listen to this. However, this is from the Supreme Court ruling, time, place, and manner restrictions still apply. You cannot commit arson, trespass, or endanger others while doing it. Okay, so this is my question. Okay, and I got a few questions about this, and I want to hear your thoughts. Give me a call, toll free, 888-465-2631. Let's use the real world example of the guy that's in the news this morning. This idiot dressed up in paramilitary clothing, trying to pass himself off as a conservative, burned a flag on the sidewalk in front of the White House yesterday and was arrested. And people are saying, well, he shouldn't be arrested. You see this. It's all over social media. People, he shouldn't be arrested. It's free speech. Really? He took an American flag. He put it on the side, a public sidewalk where there's people. It's across the street from the White House, but it's still, public sidewalk. He poured something on it. I don't know what it was, kerosene. I don't know what it was to help it burn. And he lit it on fire, and he got a fire on the sidewalk. That's okay to you? Really? What if I wanted to burn my shirt or my hat or trash? What if I went over to the trash can right off to the side of the sidewalk there, took the trash can, took the bag out, dumped the garbage on the sidewalk, and lit that on fire? Would that be okay to you? Of course not. You just can't go around committing arson. This idea that you could just go wherever you want and burn the flag of the United States, really, why can't you burn other things there? Why not put some wood out there and light that on fire? You just can't go around and start lighting stuff on fire in public. And when people are burning the flag, exercising their free speech about the United States, where are they doing it? It's always in public. Oftentimes, with very rowdy crowds around. That sounds very dangerous, doesn't it? So the Supreme Court ruling says you can burn the flag, exercising your free speech. It still is saying you can't go around and be a pyromaniac and just light things up wherever you feel like it. And I don't really think people have thought about this too much. Now, one of the things I remember from my days in the Cub Scouts and the Webelos, is the proper way to dispose of a flag is to burn it, right? You don't throw flags away, you burn them. So if you are burning your flag because that's the proper way to dispose of it, what do? Do I go downtown and do it on the sidewalk? Do I do it in front of a bus station, a library, a government building? No. To burn a flag properly at home, you do it in a controlled setting. You could do it on your grill in the backyard, as an example. That's a controlled setting. However, what would happen at your house? And of course, I'm not talking to people that live on farms. I'm talking to people that live in normal residential neighborhoods like I do. Okay, so here I am. I'm at my house. I go out in the front yard. And it's, and instead of throwing out my trash, I decide I want to burn it. Not only that, I got a mattress I'm throwing out. I don't want to put that mattress out there. So I decide I want to burn it. Can I just burn my mattress in front of my house? What would happen if I burned my mattress in front of my house? People would call the police and the fire department, and I'd get in a lot of trouble. Oops, I just dropped my phone. Huh? Okay, it didn't crack, and I got Apple Care anyway, so that's good. Exactly. I can't. What about if I wanted to burn my garbage, just my regular garbage from the week, right, in front of my house? What would happen if I went out in the front of my house and poured all my garbage on the sidewalk in front of my house and burned it? What would happen? The police would be called. The fire department would be called. I could get in trouble. I might get arrested. Certainly we get some tickets because that's dangerous. So why is it okay to burn the flag of the United States, but nothing else? And who's to say I'm making a statement? Hey, I don't want to, I don't want my trash to be put in some public dump that people can go through. I have personal things there, so I'm going to burn it on my sidewalk, and I'm making a political statement about public landfill opposition. That's not, that's crazy. That's like dangerous to do. But with American flags, and here's something that is pretty much illegal to burn anywhere. In fact, there's something that if you burn it, you very well could find yourself in a prison. The burning of crosses. You can't burn crosses. Right. And why can't you burn crosses? It's because the Democrats and the KKK used to do it as a form of their whatever they were doing. The burning of a cross is considered hate speech. So why is it okay to burn the flag of the United States in public, wherever you feel like it in your mind, but you can't burn anything else in public? Or you're going to get arrested or cited. Why is it okay to burn the flag of the United States, but burning any other flag is hate speech? What would happen if you went to the Ukrainian embassy and burned a Ukrainian flag in front of it today? Yeah, they'd call it, the media be all over you as hate speech. Why is it okay to burn the flag of the United States, but you can't burn your cross? Now, again, I'm not in favor of burning anything. Flags, crosses, garbage, nothing, okay? I'm not some pyromaniac lunatic. But, burning all these other things can be a form of expression. There are people that don't like their garbage being taken to a public landfill where anybody could go through it and find it. But you can't burn your trash on your sidewalk and say, well, that's political expression. You just can't do it. And when they passed the laws around the country that you couldn't burn crosses, you go to prison for burning a cross. You can. Even here in Florida, a red state. I think that law went into effect when Jeb Bush was governor, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that, but I remember it being an issue when Jeb was governor of Florida. He was governor, he was elected the first time in 98. So he was governor until 96. So, I mean, these are, or 2006, I should say. So these are things that you've got to deal with that really don't back up to what it is you are saying when it comes to burning the American flag. Now, most people that say, oh, it's protected speech and everything, I just think they really haven't thought about it too much. I think they got a lot of opinions about it that they haven't thought about too much. And it's just something that they repeat, especially the left, since President Trump has come out against the burning of the flag. It's just something they repeat and say, well, you know, it's free speech. No, you don't have the freedom to go out and light stuff on fire all over the place. You know, what if you decided that you wanted to burn your house down? Could you do that in a residential neighborhood where there's people around? No. You know, setting things on fire is very, very dangerous. You know, this guy that got arrested yesterday in front of the White House for setting that flag on fire, he put some type of gasoline or something on it, kerosene. I'm not sure what he put on it. But it was all over the sidewalk. The sidewalk was soaking wet. A fire like that could spread all over the place. So, no, I don't subscribe to this theory at all that the burning of the flag is protected speech. Now, when they say that you can do it, that doesn't mean that there aren't situations in when you properly can do it. Like, as I said, you know, we're told in Boy Scouts that the way to dispose of a flag, you guys learn about this when you're in scouting, which really is no more. Boy Scouts of America don't exist anymore. It's the Boys and Girl Scouts of America, and they've got like 6 members nationwide because the left, like everything else they touch, you know, just is destroy. They destroy the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts and the Webelos and these great organizations. But they don't, you know, but what I learned in Cub Scouts and Webelos is like right before you become a Boy Scout. It's between Cub Scout. I mean, it stands for We Be Loyal Scouts. And you learn that burning the flag is the proper way to dispose of a flag. So there are situations where you can burn a flag under certain safe and legal conditions. That does not mean I can burn it in my driveway, you know, and the fire department, police come, oh, no, it's okay. No, they wouldn't say it's okay. It's not okay because you just can't light fires in public. And when people light the flag of the United States on fire as a form of political speech and expression, do they do it in a controlled scenario? No. It's always done in a crowd, usually a rowdy crowd at some angry protest with lots of people way too close. It's very dangerous. So, no, it's to say that it's political expression. If you find a way to do it in a private, safe, and legal way, that's one thing, like when you're disposing of the flag. But to go out at some protest in front of some event with lots of people in a tiny area in a crowd and light anything on fire, you're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry. It's incredibly dangerous. Now, if you want to have a private flag burning ceremony at home, the Supreme Court ruling would protect that. If you went on your backyard barbecue grill and you got together with a few of your idiot liberal friends and burn the flag in protest on your grill in a controlled situation, that's fine. It's in a controlled situation because you have a grill, You can shut the lid and do it. It's in your backyard. No one will see it. So, But then again, if your grill's too close to the house, which a lot of people have, you could catch something on fire doing that because the grill is not really made to burn material like that. But you could do it. Or if you're out on a farm, you could put a barrel and burn it in a barrel somewhere on the farm. But if my neighbor started burning stuff in a barrel in his backyard, I'd probably call the police and the fire department. I'd call 911 because it's very dangerous. We live in a residential neighborhood. A fire like that, well, it can spread to the trees, to the bushes, to the house. So no, this and certainly not in a crowd that has a lot of people in it that are pissed off protesting anything. So this idea that burning the flag of the United States of America is okay and you can do it whenever and however you feel like it, have you really thought that through? I don't think you have. Those of you that support it. But as I said in the beginning of this, the majority of the people that support the flag burning are people that think the country should be burned down and hate the country. Now, if you'd like to join us on our 10th annual MAGA cruise, it's coming up in March. We have a couple of cabins left at this incredibly low special price. The 2019 pricing that we have on some cabins, because we blocked these cabins out a long time ago. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot. Our MAGA cruises are so much fun. I mean, we just have a great time, and I love these cruises, and it is my yearly vacation. If the video you're watching on the screen, this is from one of our cruises, and we take a private sailboat catamaran ride, and on this one we're having a lobster lunch on our catamaran ride. We have incredible shore excursions, great MAGA people. We go snorkeling. On this particular cruise you're looking at, we went snorkeling over a sunken ship. We have a private party on one of the islands. We're going to Antigua, the Virgin Islands, and Nassau, and the Bahamas on the Celebrity Beyond. And those of you that have been before, we're doing all kinds of different things on this one that we've never done before. And the shore excursions we have are out of this world, but we're also planning a lot of activities on board the ship, and we're going to have a great time. And also, those of you that are single, we've got a lot of singles. Yeah, these are all listeners from our MAGA cruise. We have a lot of singles that are going on this cruise, and we always do. In fact, there's one couple that have gotten married that met on the cruise from different parts of the country. They came on the cruise together. Call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot, 561-244-5779. And remember, you got 5-star Michelin meals every night. We have dinner together every night. A whole bunch of stuff we're doing on board the ship that we've never done before. We have private events on board. We do the shore excursions together. The shore excursions are 100% private with our MAGA group. And it's just a great week, and I look forward to it every year. This is also our largest group we've ever had, and some of my best friends that I have today are people that I've met on our MAGA cruise. So call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot and reserve your spot and lock in. We have, like I say, we have a handful of these cabins that we've got at the 2019 low rates, 561-244-5779. And price varies on a lot of factors. But if you go with our group, you'll be paying less than anybody else on board the ship. When you call Ian, he'll give you the pricing over the phone. 561-244-5779. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number, and he will call you back. This is our 10th annual cruise, and I'm jamming. I can't believe this is our 10th year of doing these cruises. All right, so anyway, I'd like to hear your thoughts on the flag burning. If you're, this is the pre-radio show. We're not on the radio yet. I'm just streaming here on YouTube, and if you're in the chat and you're taking issue with anything I've said, you are welcome to pick up the phone and call. The number is toll-free 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. But I don't accept this that flag burning is of the flag of the United States is okay. And I don't agree that the Supreme Court says it's okay. This guy that's in the news is the one I'm going to reference mostly, because as opposed to talking about some abstract thing that is some scenario you create or something that happened long ago. We got a real life story in the news. And I know they're saying this guy's a veteran. I don't know that he's a veteran or not. I mean, I know he's wearing some clothes to try to pass off as a veteran, but just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you have the right to go out and endanger people's lives and do crime. And, you know, that flag that he lit up on the sidewalk when he put some gasoline or kerosene or some flammable type liquid on top of the flag and then lit it on fire, it was a pretty big fire on a sidewalk in public during the day with lots of people around. How is it allowed? And in your mind, explain to me, because I know all these liberals, all these never-Trumpers are saying, oh no, burning the flag's protected speech. Explain to me how it is a protected right to burn something on a public sidewalk where there's people around. That's like, isn't that arson? And arson's a pretty serious crime. And I just don't think people have thought this through that well. Because, you know, when it comes to burning things, have you ever been around a fire? Oh my goodness, you ever been to a bonfire? I've been to a bonfire, and man, fires are hot. Have you been up close to a fire? Fires are hot. Hot. Have you ever been at a cookout and the grill got out of control and you could just shut the lid? Well, if you're out on a public sidewalk, you can't just shut the lid. And all, you know, these flags are made in a way so that they don't burn easily, like a lot of fabrics. So when people go and burn flags, these hate America people that are out there burning flags, right? They don't just burn the flag, they always pour some type of flammable liquid on them because they won't burn on their own. So you spread, usually it's the something for the grill or something. So they got a spray can. I've seen this happen many times, and you can see this idiot that got arrested. They take the flag, they soak it, they throw it on the ground, they soak it some more, and then they throw a match on it. Really? You're telling me that the Supreme Court has said that it's okay to spread a flammable liquid all over the sidewalk and in the air in public and ignite it? I don't, that's not what the Supreme Court ruling is saying. You're not allowed to go out and light stuff on fire in public. But President Trump's very smart. So if you're on hold, hang in there. We're coming up on the top of the hour where the radio station switches over soon. So I was talking at the beginning about how President Trump is 5-10 moves ahead. But in this instance, he's not just 5 or 10 moves ahead. The other side don't even understand what he's doing here. So why do you think President Trump, think about this now, why do you think President Trump comes out with an executive order punishing flag burning with 1 year in jail? Why do you think he did that? Think about it for a second. Why all of a sudden? Because it's kind of an out of the blue kind of thing, isn't it? Let me pull it up here. Here he is. Oh, here we go.
What the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
Okay. This is a very old issue from the 80s and the early 90s. I haven't heard anybody talk about flag burning since then. Liberals were lighting flags on fire like crazy, and then they had those Supreme Court rulings, and then they stopped doing it. We haven't heard about it too much. So why has President Trump done this? It's pretty smart what he's doing. So what's going to happen now? You know what's going to happen? Lunatic liberals all over the United States, from sea to shining sea, are going to start lighting flags on fire. Like this idiot in front of the White House yesterday. So liberals, today is the first day that this is really going to hit the news cycle because of that guy, because it just happened yesterday. So the news will be discussing it today like I'm discussing it. This idiot got arrested in front of the White House. He couldn't wait, this pyromaniac, and went and did it. So it's going to become like the ice bucket challenge. Remember the ice bucket challenge? So liberals nationwide are going to go out and start burning flags. And what is the reaction that you have when you see these lunatic liberals burn an American flag? You get angry, don't you? Absolutely. Absolutely you get angry. As you should, because they're monsters to do such a thing. You know, people have died for that flag. People have sacrificed their life to protect that flag. And so these idiot leftists who are defending criminals' right to do crime in American cities are now going to go out and start burning flags because Trump signed this executive order saying a year in jail. It doesn't even matter if the courts throw it out or not. The imagery of liberals out there burning flags is going to show what they really are. The Hate America First crowd, because very few people in the United States support the burning of the flag of the United States. Most Americans are opposed to such stupid activity. All right, let me check out the time here. We're going to be switching over to the, let's see here. Okay, we got a few minutes, and then the radio station will be switching over. You really gotta hand it to President Trump. He is just so smart and is always so far ahead of them. Now, if you'd like to support my channel and my content, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of the video, and you'll also be supporting my early show. I came on 40 minutes early today, 40 minutes yesterday and Friday, 30 minutes early on Thursday. So I'm expanding the length of the show. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you'll help keep that possible by becoming a Patreon supporter. And when you are a Patreon supporter, you get commercial-free access to all of my podcast episodes and access to a lot of exclusive content. Plus, you get your name up here on the screen if you're a top Patreon supporter. And top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you shout-out on all my podcast episodes. I want to thank SFjr. Some of the top Patreon supporters, you may recognize their names from the chat room. My top Patreon supporters, I want to thank you all. SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and Janice. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for your support. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the video. And you can also go directly to the website, patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Now, if you're on hold, stand by, because we're doing the switch over to the radio station now, and they could accidentally click us on. So I'm going to recap this issue when I go live on the radio in a few minutes, and then I'll open up the phones and start taking some calls on it. But you guys heard my argument. Let me know in the chat my argument about the flag burning. Do you agree or disagree with my opinion on that? I think most of you would agree. I really do. How could you disagree? Exactly. I mean, it's a pretty common sense position that I have there. That's right. Oh, man, I tell you, yeah, they just haven't thought it through. You know, what liberals have is just a bunch of vacuous, one-line talking points. And what they mostly are just stupid that they haven't thought through yet. And, of course, the call-in number is pinned in the live chat. So if you'd like to call in, you can call me there. We'll be live on the radio in just a couple of minutes. Let's see. Okay, yeah, just about 3 minutes, and we'll be live on the air. So I'm going to recap this for the radio audience before I take calls. But I don't think anyone, I've been listening to this. I wasn't going to talk about this too much, and then I saw this article in Fox. Trump's flag burning order draws rare fire from conservatives. So here we have all these fake Trump supporters who come out of the closet and share their stupidity. And a lot of them are younger people that have been brainwashed that it's okay. So I'm going to go through that in that article from Fox when we get back and get on the air. Yes. The cult are the never Trumpers are the cultist. We're the majority. Cults are tiny little things. Most everyone in the country is MAGA. That doesn't fit the definition of a cult, just like President Trump doesn't fit the definition of a dictator that they keep calling him. In about 90 seconds, a little more than that, then we'll be live on the radio. And you guys, this is my 4th day of coming on early. You guys like the extra show? Sometimes I do an hour live stream before this one, but today I was just too busy. I had to record a bunch of commercials for the radio station and for my podcast. So I didn't have time to do one before I went live for the main show. Yeah, so make sure you click the notification bell so you get the notification when I go live, because in the mornings I'm still going to set the start time at 6 a.m. because depending on how much work I got to do in the morning, I never know exactly what time I'm going to be able to come on early. But I come on as soon as I can get my coffee and set up. And, they started opening the Starbucks closest to my house at 5 a.m. a couple weeks ago. And that's enabling me to get the coffee early enough to get live, So, and I asked them, they've been open at 5 a.m. for a couple weeks. I asked them today, I said, how do you like this 5 a.m. thing? They said, it's pretty easy. She says, you're the only one that comes in this early every day. I said, well, maybe some exec at the company is closet MAGA and wants me to be able to come on early. I don't know. All right, here we go. Stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 48 years on the radio. Welcome, one and all. We have a lot to cover today. I want to talk about the firing that President Trump did of this crook at the Fed, and a whole bunch of other things have developed in Chicago and elsewhere in the country. There's so much going on. I mean, it's like an overflow of news going on out there. It really is. But I want to start with this flag-burning order of President Trump. Let me play the clip of President Trump here. This is President Trump yesterday in the Oval Office.
What the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
Okay. If you burn the flag of the United States of America, 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing. And, of course, the left are just all up in arms because they support burning the American flag. No other flags, just the American flag. And I wasn't going to talk about this so much today, more than just a mention, because there's been so much news. And then I saw this article on the Fox News website with a bunch of idiots that they were quoting. And I said, people don't understand, because people keep saying, oh, well, the Supreme Court said that burning the flag is free speech and it's allowed. That is really not true, as you're going to learn on today's program. But, I remember talking about this issue when it was a hot issue in the early 90s. And it's died off, and we haven't talked about burning the flag since Clinton was president. And I really wasn't going to bring this up until I saw this Fox News article, and I want to share some of it with you. This is Fox News. Trump's flag-burning order draws rare fire from conservatives. This is Fox News. The Supreme Court ruled that burning the American flag was protected by the First Amendment in 1989. Now, before I go through this article, that is not true, okay? As it's being defined by these idiots in the media and these Trump-hating Democrats and never-Trumpers out there so far as the Supreme Court ruling. And I'm going to talk about a very specific example of flag burning because it's in the news this morning. There was this idiot arrested yesterday by the Uniformed Secret Service burning the great flag of the United States of America on a sidewalk across the street from the White House. And he got arrested. And people saying, First Amendment, free speech. In fact, the Uniformed Secret Service lady cop rode up on her bicycle and said, put it out. And he said, no, First Amendment, free speech. And this guy is wearing, I know they're saying he's a veteran. Really? How do you know he's a veteran? Because he's wearing some paramilitary clothes that he bought on Amazon. He's got, he's wearing some khakis with the American flag on it. You think that guy looks like a veteran? Maybe, I don't know. But is what he did, burning that flag on the sidewalk in front of the White House, is that what the Supreme Court meant when they said you can burn the flag and it's protected speech? And I'm here to tell you no. And I want to ask you some questions about this, okay? And I want to hear your thoughts to this. Oh, it's the First Amendment, really? If I was in that same spot that the guy burned the flag on and was arrested yesterday, and I went over to the garbage can and took out the garbage bag, dumped the garbage on the sidewalk, and lit the garbage on fire, would that be allowed? And what you may be saying, well, you're not protesting anything. Oh, sure. I could be protesting something. I could say, D.C. is a garbage pit, and I'm burning this garbage in recognition of this being a garbage pit. No, the answer is no, that if you burn the garbage on the sidewalk in the same spot, you would get arrested too. Because the Supreme Court, while they said that burning the American flag is protected First Amendment speech, they didn't go out and say you could commit arson and be a pyromaniac and endanger others and set things on fire whenever you feel like it. This guy yesterday, the flag is made of a material that's difficult to burn, like a lot of cloth things. So he didn't just light the flag on fire and throw it on the ground and watch it burn, baby, burn. He put some type of accelerant on it. I don't know what it was, but he squirted out of a bottle some accelerant on it, threw the flag on the sidewalk, and you could see, and then he continued to put some accelerant on it. The sidewalk had a big wet spot of whatever that was, gasoline, kerosene, I don't know what it was, but the sidewalk had a round spot soaking wet of whatever that combustible liquid was that he put out there. And then he lit it on fire. The Supreme Court said you can go out and set fires on the public sidewalk with people around? I don't think so. It's very dangerous. Now, I have seen on television people burning flags many times on television and online. When and where do they do it? When and where do people burn flags? Supreme Court said you can do it. It's free speech, First Amendment and all. They always light flags at political events where there's lots of people in public. And they always pour some type of accelerant on it. So you mean to tell me that the Supreme Court of the United States said it's okay to commit arson and light things on fire when you're surrounded by a group of angry people protesting something? It's very dangerous. And when you're spraying some type of accelerant on something, the fumes of that could ignite in the air. The fire could spread. Someone's pants could catch on fire. No, what that guy did yesterday and all these other idiots you've seen in your life burning the great flag of the United States, that's not what the Supreme Court said was okay. What would happen to you if you took some other flags? And I'll give you some examples. What if you took the Black Lives Matter flag and walked over to the NAACP headquarters in D.C. and lit it on fire? What would happen? You'd get arrested and you'd get charged with a hate crime. What would happen if you took the rainbow LGBT transgendered flag down the street in Washington to the leading gay rights organization? There's one called the Human Rights Foundation. And you lit that flag on fire in front of the gay rights organization, the LGBT transgendered flag. You'd get arrested and charged with a hate crime. Absolutely you would. So, and there's others. We can go on. So why is it okay in your liberal Trump derangement syndrome suffering brains to light the flag of the United States on fire in public on sidewalks with accelerant, but the other ones are hate crimes? You know why that is? It's a pretty simple answer. Because liberals want to burn down all of the United States. They hate the United States, so they get very excited burning the flag. But you can burn all kinds of things as political speech and get arrested. Pretty much everywhere in the United States, it is a crime that you will be arrested for and you will go to prison for if you burn a cross. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't support burning anything. I don't even have a grill. If I want some barbecue or something, I'll DoorDash the barbecue joint down the street. But I used to have a grill. I don't anymore. But yeah, if you burn a cross, even here in Florida, you will go to prison. It's a hate crime to burn a cross. But you may say, well, that's a hate crime. That's hate speech. Well, when someone's burning the flag of the United States, what kind of speech? That's not hate speech. You got to be pretty consumed with rage, anger, and hate towards the United States to burn our great flag that people have died for. So why is burning the cross, the LGBT flag, the BLM flag, why is that hate speech? But burning the flag of the United States isn't? Because the liberals hate the United States and think it's justified to hate the United States, and it's not justified to be angry at these other things. Now, while you're allowed to burn the flag as free speech and all, there are scenarios where the Supreme Court ruling saying it's okay would apply. If you do it in a controlled setting where it's legal to burn things, you can do it. But right here at my home, would it be okay for me to go out in front of my house and burn the American flag? Is that first free speech? Well, it's garbage day. What if I didn't want the garbage men to take my garbage? And I decided to dump out on my sidewalk all of my garbage and light it in protest of the idea that these strange people that I don't know have access to all my private stuff that's in my garbage. I don't support that. I'm a privacy advocate. So I'm burning my trash in protest of the trash men. Is that protected speech? What would happen to me if I lit my garbage on fire in front of my house on the sidewalk? You know what would happen? My neighbors would call 911 and the police and fire department would come, and I might get arrested. So, while there may be some places that you can burn the flag of the United States that fit the Supreme Court ruling, you just can't go out in public and start lighting things on fire. I almost said something else with the S word. Because it's dangerous. You could burn yourself pouring some flammable liquid. You could, when you pour that, like this idiot that got arrested yesterday, he could have lit his hand on fire. He's spraying some flammable accelerant on the flag and then he lights it. The fumes from whatever that is could go right up his hand and burn his arm. Or the other people around on the sidewalk just enjoying a visit to D.C. looking at the White House. So no, the Supreme Court does not support what you think of as burning the flag of the United States. That is not true. That is a liberal urban legend. That is a liberal myth. It is a lie. So why did Trump bring this up all of a sudden out of the blue? I'm going to tell you why after the break. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm dying to hear your thoughts either way on this. I don't see how anyone could disagree with what I've said. It seems pretty plain to me that the Supreme Court does not and did not support what's being presented as flag burning. Now, if you're a Medicare recipient, if you're 65 or turning 65 soon, call Chapter. No matter what state you're in, all 50 states and the District of Columbia and the U.S. territories, if you're a Medicare recipient, Chapter can help you. The number is in the description of the video. It's also on the screen here on YouTube. When you call Chapter, you're going to get a real live agent. They'll answer all your questions for free and never will cost you anything. That's right. There's no catches, no gimmicks, just free help on your Medicare. They'll answer all your questions. And the average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare. That's right. That means a lot of them are saving a lot more. Millions of seniors are not receiving all the benefits they're entitled to under Medicare. So Chapter's going to find out if you're getting the benefits you're entitled to, if there's benefits you're missing out on, and if you're paying too much. And not only that, open enrollment's coming up soon. If you call and you make contact, that's a very busy time in Medicare. You'll be able to jump the line when open enrollment starts. So give them a call no matter what state you are in, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be back in about 90 seconds. Where is my laptop? Ah, there it is. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, so let me play the clip. This is the president yesterday.
What the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
Okay, so the flag burning is really an old issue. There were two major Supreme Court rulings on them. One was in '89 and the other one was in 1990. And I remember when I first started on the air, it was a big issue, and it's died off since then. And I haven't heard anybody talk about flag burning since the early 90s, and it's back. So why would President Trump bring up an issue out of the blue about flag burning? And why would he bring up an issue about flag burning that most people think is a settled issue? Why would he do that? I'm not going to troll for calls on this. If you're on hold, hang in there. I got to get more off my chest about this flag burning liberal urban legend that they've been promoting since this dropped yesterday, and then we'll get to some calls in a bit. So if you're on hold, bear with me. So what's going on here? Why is he doing this? It's a brilliant political move. So what's going to happen? This dropped yesterday, and on my podcast yesterday afternoon, I think I might have mentioned it, but I didn't talk about it too much. And then I wanted to wait and let it play out a little bit. I didn't even really plan on talking about it too much today until I saw this Fox News article with these idiots that think they're MAGA, which I'll share with you in a few minutes. Why'd President Trump bring up this old issue and make it an issue? Why? Well, we had one high-profile instance of this lunatic that got arrested in front of the White House yesterday, burning the flag, endangering people's lives, doing it. So what's going to happen? Liberals from coast to coast are going to start burning the flag and showing how much they really hate this country. It's the right thing to do, what President Trump did yesterday. Don't misunderstand me. But it has a larger purpose of exposing the left for the Hate America First crowd. You know, this week they're out there advocating for the rights of criminals to rape, kill, murder, burglarize, home invade, carjack, do all kinds of mayhem. The liberals have been defending that. Even their highest-ranking elected officials have been defending the constitutional rights of criminals to do all these terrible crimes. So now they're going to go out there and support burning down the flag of the United States and committing arson by a bunch of angry pyromaniacs all over the country, and they're going to do it. And they're going to put it all over social media, and people are going to be showing it and talking about it. So it's part of the midterm election strategy of the Republican Party led by our great president, Donald Trump. He's going to go from city to city and rid the blue city to blue city, ridding them of crime, which is going to turn these blue cities red into red MAGA cities. He's got this going on. You know, this idea that the party in power loses in the midterms, well, it's because we've had a bunch of jokes as presidents before President Trump. And he's going into the midterms with a whole new strategy that's never been achieved before. But no, don't let anyone lead you to believe that the Supreme Court's ruling allows you to burn the flag any and anywhere you want. It's not true. Now, from my days in the Scouts, when I was in the Webelos, I had that cool job. I got to carry the flag in the parades and at the monthly meeting and everything. And any of you guys get to do that in Scouts? My troop did not have flag belts. They had no money. We had no flag belts. I remember I was in a 4th of July parade, and I had to keep the flag in my stomach the whole time. Oh my goodness! And they had us marching behind the horses, which, you know what horses do along the whole parade route. Oh my goodness. They had guys with shovels, but they weren't quick enough sometimes. So holding the flag, no flag belt, stepping over manure. But the proper way to dispose of a flag is burning it. This is true. In a legal and controlled way. Typically, if people dispose of their flags by burning them, most people keep their flags. They just fold them up and put them in the garage. I would never throw a flag away. But what most people do that burn them, they'll do one of two things. they'll either burn it in their barbecue grill, which is not necessarily safe either or proper because those grills aren't made for that, but people do that. Or they'll put it in a barrel and burn it in a barrel. But you just can't do that. I can't go in my front yard or my backyard and just do that. If my neighbor started burning things in a barrel in the backyard, what would I do? And what would the other neighbors do? We'd call 911. We'd call the fire department, and the police would come as well. And they'd probably get in trouble, maybe even arrested. It's dangerous to burn stuff. So no, the Supreme Court did not say you have a constitutional right to be an arsonist. Oh boy, I tell you, to be a liberal. I want to talk about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman. Sloman's, they'll give you a free doorbell camera that connects to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. But that's not all. Sloman's, they're also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Plus, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call right now, no matter where you're located. 833-283-5050. 833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. We'll be right back. Exactly. I'm making too much sense today, I guess, huh? I mean, how could anyone disagree with anything I've said about this flag burning thing? How is it possible? There's no way to disagree with any of it. Everything I said is 100% the truth. It just is. I just think, people just have this mindless free speech thing that they can that they say no. Not the case. Most liberal talking points are what I call liberal urban legends. They have all these things that they think are true that are not, and one of them is the Supreme Court of the United States said that you can go burn the flag of the United States anywhere you want. No. Those of you that are new, I'm broadcasting on the radio. This is a radio station break for the bottom of the hour, and I don't talk to the chat when I'm on the air. You can call me. The number is toll-free, and it's pinned in the live chat. You can call me live on the air. You'll be on the air and be heard. I want to take some calls when we get back, and that's how I respond. I don't respond to the chat when I'm on the air. So, it's not very interesting for people to hear somebody respond to a chat room on the air. So, no, you got to call me on the air, whether you disagree or agree, and then we'll talk. So, those of you that are saying, I won't answer. No, you call me on the air and I'll answer. But that's the way the show works. No profanity because we're on the radio. I mean, I'm not even done. I'll take a couple calls, but I'm not even done yet. I mean, I've been talking about this for about an hour and 10 minutes, and I still haven't covered my whole take on the issue. We'll be back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I still haven't gone to the Fox article. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Have you ever seen somebody light an American flag as a form of protest when they weren't in public surrounded by a bunch of angry people? You just can't light stuff on fire when you're in a crowd like that. You ever heard you can't yell fire in a crowded theater? You could hurt people. You could cause a panic. You could burn people doing something like that. And they always use some type of accelerant. You can't. It's and those things the fumes from those can catch on fire in the air. No, there's people on hold. I just haven't been taking the calls. I want to finish with what I'm talking about before I take calls. This is one of the official America 250th birthday shirts that President Trump, is celebrating. Here's back. I got a couple of different shirts like this, but this is from the official store. Pretty cool. Okay, we got about 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold. You stand by. So here's the president yesterday.
What the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail, no early exits, no nothing.
Okay, 1 year in jail for burning the flag. So what inspired me to talk about this, because as I said, I really wasn't going to talk about this at length. And I've been talking about it for over an hour, because I start the show some mornings. I did today, about 40 minutes before the radio show started. So I was talking about this to the online audience then. So I've been talking about this for over an hour, and I still haven't gone through all my opinions on it. But I was going to mention it in passing until I saw two things. One was the reaction to this guy that lit the flag on fire on the sidewalk in front of the White House yesterday. And then I read this article where they're showing what a bunch of idiots who claim to be conservatives said about the president's statement. And Fox, I was like, well, I got it. I realized there's such a misunderstanding about burning of the flag that I got to talk about it and explain it. And this is something I haven't thought about this in over 30 years. It has not been an issue, flag burning, in a long time. But I'm glad the president brought it up so he can. What he's doing is he's smoking out the vile American haters who are going to come out with their American hate. So here's the headline in the Trump article. Trump's flag burning order draws rare fire from conservatives. The Supreme Court ruled that burning the American flag was protected by the First Amendment in 1989. And as I've been sharing with you, that's not true. So let me read this article. And this is from Fox News, and I did tweet this. President Donald Trump's new executive order targeting flag burning drew rare criticism from conservatives on Monday. Now, there's a bunch of fake MAGA conservatives out there that are always trashing the president. And there's also a lot of people that think they're conservative, but they're millennials and such. And they've been brainwashed in the liberal public education system and a liberal college education. And they think that burning the flag is okay, according to the Supreme Court, when the opposite is true. But a lot of them are just fake conservatives and fake MAGA. All right, back to this Fox News article. The executive order announced on Monday directs the Attorney General to prosecute violations of laws involving flag desecration and to pursue litigation that would clarify the scope of the First Amendment as it relates to flag desecration. The order additionally directs Attorney General Pam Bondi to refer flag desecration cases that violate state and local laws to appropriate local authorities. So, what we're talking now is about arson. And I don't know, what is, if you're lighting things on fire in public, what is that? There's got to be multiple crimes that you're committing based on that. The president's order followed months of protesters burning American flags at various anti-Israel and anti-ICE demonstrations. Trump faced unusual pushback from the right on social media after signing the order, as conservatives largely defended flag burning as a First Amendment right. Well, either they're stupid, brainwashed, or fake conservative, but they all should listen to this program And if they listen to my program today, they would understand. One conservative posted, banning flag burning is absurd. It's anti-free speech and peak snowflake behavior. Colin Wright on X, some conservative. I don't know who Colin Wright is, but Colin Wright is Colin wrong here, as I pointed out. Right? What would happen if you burned a cross? You get arrested. It's a federal crime. It's also a state crime. Right? I was talking earlier. What would happen if you went to a NAACP office and burned a BLM flag in front of the facility? You'd get arrested. Hate crime. Right? He goes on, I would never burn the American flag because of what it symbolizes to me, but the act of banning the burning of it runs more contrary to American values than the burning itself ever could. No, in fact, as I said, the proper way to dispose of the flag of the United States is burning the flag, but under legal, controlled, safe situations. Not covering it with gasoline or some other accelerant and doing it on a sidewalk in public surrounded by 100 angry protesters protesting something. You just can't do that. That's very dangerous. Radio host Jesse Kelly said this, I would never in a million years harm the American flag, but a president telling me I can't has me as close as I'll ever be to lighting one on fire. I am a free American citizen, and if I ever feel like torching one, I will. This is garbage. Well, Jesse Kelly is stupid. He is a stupid, stupid person. And everything he said is absurd and ridiculous. Jesus. These people, I don't know anything about Jesse Kelly. Is he a millennial? Looks like he might be a millennial. See, a lot of people think they're conservative, but they've been brainwashed by the liberal media, the liberal education system, the liberal college, and they think a lot of things are true that just are not. Jesse Kelly. Who else do they got here? Dana Loesch. Oh, Dana Loesch. Dana Loesch, she's like my age. She's Gen X. Dana Loesch posted to X, flag burning is vile, but the government has no right to control speech or expression. Really? So you can, what if you want to burn tires? What if you want to burn tires? Some people may say tires are an oil product. This tire is made from Iranian oil. I don't support Iran. I'm going to burn tires on the sidewalk in front of the White House. I'm exercising my free speech of political expression and my opposition to Iran. I don't want tires that are made with oil from Iran. Can you burn tires on the sidewalk, Dana Loesch? Jesse Kelly? Is that okay? Why is it only the flag of the United States that is okay to burn? You can't burn anything else. And look at how, one of the things that we do here on this program is we do a lot of things. We discuss the news and everything, and rarely is there something that is so misunderstood by, because Dana Loesch is a respected conservative, and even her mind is polluted by liberalism. We've grown up in an era where liberalism has taken over so many aspects of our society that even a lot of conservatives have no idea what they're talking about in regards to burning the flag. Why is it okay to burn the flag of the United States, but you can burn nothing else without getting arrested, going to jail, being sent to prison for a hate crime violation, or get a ticket at the very least? I'm tired of mowing my lawn. I'm going to light it on fire. Can I light my lawn on fire? What would happen? I'm protesting it. I don't like growing the grass. John Deere charges too much for those mowers. I don't have a mower. And in protest of the rising cost of mowers, I'm going to burn my grass. Can I burn the grass in my front yard? No. I cannot burn the grass in my front yard. I'd get arrested if I burned my lawn. If I set my lawn on fire, I'd get arrested. But I'm protesting gasoline-powered lawnmowers and the high price of riding mowers. And my protest, I'm not mowing my lawn, I'm burning it. Are you kidding me? See, these conservatives who think there's, these great constitutional thinkers are a bunch of dopes. Conservative commentator Eric Aronson wrote this about President Trump's order. This is actually not brilliant. While I agree with the sentiment, it is unfortunately well-settled constitutional law that burning the flag is a matter of free speech and the executive does not get to create crimes. Not true. Not true. This guy that got arrested in front of the White House yesterday, that was not free speech. That was arson. That was pyromania. That was endangering people. Who else do they have here? I'm not even sure how to pronounce this guy's name. Here's another so-called conservative. I know nothing matters and you aren't allowed to criticize your own side, but I'd like to return to a time when presidents didn't sign unconstitutional executive orders for show. Really? Tell me something else you can burn in public other than the flag of the United States and not get into some type of trouble, even as much as a ticket. Kimberly Ross, another conservative. I don't think the federal government should take equity stakes in companies, and First Amendment protections apply to the burning of the American flag as much as I as much as I abhor that action. No, it does not. What would happen if you burned a Quran in front of a mosque? What would happen if you burned a Quran in front of the 9/11 memorial in Washington, D.C., or that field in Pennsylvania? You know what would happen if you burned a Quran? You'd get arrested, and depending on what jurisdiction, you'd get charged with a hate crime. And depending on who's in the White House, you could even get charged with a federal hate crime. So, no. All of these big-mouth, self-important conservatives that think they know everything don't know jack. And all of these people, including Dana Loesch and Jesse Kelly, are a bunch of dummies, a bunch of sheeple. And the list goes on. I'm not going to read any others. Is there any other famous ones that I know of? I don't know any of these other people. Oh, my goodness. All right. Let's take our break. We'll be back. Gee whiz. Those of you on hold, hang in there. I know a lot of you have been calling, and I haven't been taking the calls. I apologize. I'll take some calls after the break, I promise. My goodness. Now, I want to remind you guys, if you are a Medicare recipient, call Chapter. They're a nationwide company. No matter which state or territory you're in, they can help you with your Medicare. And the help is always free. There's no catches, no gimmicks, no strings attached, nothing. The help is always free. And they cover the entire United States. You know, there's over 24,000 Medicare policies. And because Chapter's a national company, they have access to all of them. Millions of seniors are not getting all of their Medicare benefits that they are entitled to. When you call, you're going to get a real agent on the phone. They're going to answer all your questions in just a few short minutes and make sure that you're getting all the Medicare benefits you're entitled to. Also the average Chapter client saves over $1,100 a year on their Medicare. So they'll make sure you're not paying too much for your Medicare too. Give them a call. The number is in the description of the video, 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. All right? 805-754-3033. Open enrollment will be here before you know it, so if you call and make contact with them now, It'll speed things up during open enrollment, which is a very busy time for insurance agents. 805-754-3033. Again, they cover the entire United States, so they can help you with your Medicare no matter where you are located. Give them a call. You know, it's very rare these days that, because there's every issue that's out there, I've talked about so many of them. It's so rare when I see something that everyone, including so many big mouth conservatives, have so wrong that I spent almost 90 minutes correcting. I mean, it's very rare for me to feel so moved on an issue that I got to spell it all out, but I felt I had to do that today. All right, we'll be coming back in about 20 seconds. All right, we're back. There's one opening on the board at 888-465-2631. I will say, it's been a long time since there's been an issue where both sides have been so wrong, like these big mouth idiot so-called conservatives. And it's been a long time since I felt a need to really lay out a case on an issue like this. And I spent about 90 minutes doing it. So, and honestly, I can tell you this. This is one of those issues that I don't see how anyone could disagree with the points I've made about this on the program. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Richie, I'm going to put you on hold because I got a full board, and maybe some people that don't call every day can get through. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Greg, too.
Oh, hey, Greg. Long time no hear.
Yeah. You know what? Because listen, you and your audience just co-sign pretty much everything Trump does. What happened actually, for example, I agree with most of what he's doing, but I just disagree with the messenger. He's the worst messenger for these matters. And why all of a sudden bring up the flag as an issue that Americans care about the economy? We're not thinking about flag burning.
Okay. I know I mentioned this earlier, but you may not have listened to everything I said, but shame on you. But here's the thing. First off, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why he's doing it. He's smoking out the American haters because these liberal. It's the right thing to do, by the way. But these leftists are going to start burning flags all over the country, and most Americans don't like it. And he's going to smoke out the American haters. But let's get to this. If I went out,
wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean smoke out the American haters?
That's what I said. The American hating people out there are going to start burning flags. Like right now in the news.
What is that going to accomplish?
In the news.
Joe Smith,
well, because people get pissed off when they see these American haters. Right now in the news this morning, there's an idiot in some paramilitary clothing, looked like he bought on Amazon. Maybe he's a veteran. Maybe he's trying to pass himself off as one. He got arrested in front of the White House. He lit a flag on fire on the sidewalk. He covered it with some type of accelerant and set a big fire and got arrested. Why is it only the flag of the United States, Greg, that's okay to light on fire in public? But if he would have lit garbage or anything else on fire, he would have been arrested and no one would have said First Amendment right.
Hey, I agree with you. It's an odd.
There you go. Boom. On that, he agrees with me. I like that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Megan from Texas.
Hey, Megan.
Hi. Real quick, I just wanted to call in. I love that President Trump is doing this. My dad was a World War II Army veteran. We grew up knowing great respect for our country and our flag. And my question to the ones who think this is okay to burn our flag, how would they like it if I came to their house and set their gay pride flag or their Ukrainian flag?
Well, that's exactly right. If any of these other flags, there's been incidents in California in the past where people have gotten in trouble with the police for desecrating a Mexican flag in California because it was so offensive to the Mexican occupiers. Okay, they did it on someone did it on Cinco de Mayo. I can't remember if they burned they did something to the Mexican flag on Cinco de Mayo, and they got in some big trouble. This was a few years ago. You're absolutely right. You burn any other flag, it's hate speech, except the flag of the United States. That's correct. You are correct.
I just want to thank President Trump. Thank you, President Trump, from the daughter of a World War II vet.
That's right. Take care. Appreciate the call. All right. I'm making so much sense, even Greg, too, agreed with me. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Craig. This is Nelson. I'm calling from Tampa.
Nelson in Tampa. What's up?
I saw a video yesterday from Hillary in 2006 making a speech about exactly what Donald Trump just did. I don't know, where was she at that time?
I saw that. Yeah,
whatever.
it's when she was in the Senate. I think she was in the Senate then. I saw it, yeah.
Okay, so the way this guy explained it, he said, now we got proof that they were asking for the same thing. So when they start saying, oh, you're just doing this because this, that, and the other, why were you guys saying that then? And it was okay, but it's not okay now? So that's the thing with these people, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm a veteran. I would never burn a flag. At that time, back in the day, when you mentioned the Supreme Court and all that, I was way against it. The only thing that we have is that is a symbol. And since we're not allowed to burn any other flag, why we're going to be allowed to burn our own flag? I hate them.
Well, if you burn any other flag, it's a hate crime. And by the way, what else are you allowed to burn on a public sidewalk with a crowd around? As far as I know, it's illegal to start fires on public sidewalks everywhere. So I don't understand why they think it's okay to do that with the flag of the United States of America.
It is. We have issues because I live in the country. I have property. I mean, it's not much. It's just an acre. But when we set fires in there people call 911. The fire department shows up because there's so much wood around, and it's dangerous.
That's
correct.
correct.
Out of the woods, I would.
Yeah.
So it's not. It should never be acceptable.
Exactly. In fact, a lot of these sometimes these California fires start by somebody setting off a small fire somewhere, and then next thing you know, the whole forest is on fire.
Exactly. So no, then it should have been done sooner. Like I say, back in the 90s, whenever that happened, that you mentioned, it's like, oh my God, I remember that. You should never be allowed to burn one of the few things that we have.
Well, I don't think you should be. As far as I understand, as far as I know, you're not allowed to be burning stuff out in public, on sidewalks, especially with some type of accelerant on it, which is incredibly dangerous. And I just don't think that a lot of conservatives have thought this one through when they're attacking our president, who's very smart.
No, they are incorrect. That's all there's to it. I don't know what they're saying, but I don't believe that one of us that think the way we do will be saying something like that. So, like everything, the report will be completely incorrect, and somebody is just say, oh, this is what's going on. No, but everything right now, it's hard to discern the truth from fiction, but the truth is right that it should never be allowed to
That's
happen.
right. All right, appreciate the call from Tampa, Florida. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello there.
Oh, here we go.
Just curious about asking you about the list you were talking about. You got a list going now. Jesse Kelly, Greg Kelly, Dan Bongino, Michael Savage.
I didn't say Michael
Sean
Savage
Hannity.
or Dan Bongino or Sean Hannity.
Not today, but all the other days. You got a list going here. Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Dana Lash, Laura Ingraham, Eric Erickson.
Yep.
Well, Kimberly Ross.
Because they're conservative, I've got to agree with everything they say and do.
Brett Baer, Buck Sexton.
Yeah.
Curtis Lewa.
Excuse me. Because they're
Johnson.
So what's your point?
You don't see the common denominator here?
Explain to me what brilliant point you think you're making.
Okay, I'll have to walk you down the garden path, I suppose.
And don't use my own lines. Use your own.
Okay, well, yeah. Well, these are all very, very successful, record-breaking conservative talk show hosts that have been on the air for 20, 30, 40 years, just like you, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very successful.
How come no one's heard of you? How come no one's heard of you?
What do you mean? You just called me. You know who I am. You've heard of me. So I think that's wrong. No one's heard of me. I got a full board of calls. He's heard of me. He's calling me. But no one's heard of me. Oh, my goodness. Don't try to be a talk show host. I know it looks easy. It looks easy because I'm so good at it. All right? It's not easy. You try to do something, you look like a fool. Let me ask you this. This may be the most important question that I ask on this program all day. Are you in pain? I used to be, until I went and saw Dr. Appleton. You know, Dr. Appleton, he's rid me of pain 7 times. First time was, I guess I've known Dr. Appleton for over 3 years now. And he rid me of pain that first time in my right knee that I'd suffered from for over 30 years. And here I am 3 years later. The pain's gone and has never returned. Just like the 6 times after that, he rid me of pain too. And he can rid you of your pain as well. His laser wave pain treatment is amazing. You know, also, if you've been in a car accident and you have pains associated with a car accident, helps with that too. In fact, that my knee pain that I suffer from for over 30 years was from a car accident I was in when I was a passenger. And, you know, I tensed up and I tensed my leg up because I saw the accident coming and I injured my knee. And I had 30 years of suffering until I went and saw Dr. Philip Appleton. And that was the first time he rid me of pain. So if you've been in a car accident and you have pain from a car accident, go see Dr. Appleton too. Remember, walk-ins are welcome. Appointments are never necessary, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. I like that guy said no one's heard of me, but he knows me and he's got my number. It just cracks me up. Sorry, Dr. Appleton, I'm laughing listening to that dope that just called me. He's suffering from another kind of pain that the laser, there's a kind of pain the laser treatment doesn't work on. That's the pain of embarrassment, the pain of public embarrassment. Oh, my goodness. Give Dr. Appleton a call. And, you know, we've had listeners that have traveled from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good. Now, while appointments are not necessary, you can make an appointment. And if you're coming from out of town, maybe you do want to make an appointment. Also, if you have x-rays or scans, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will look them over. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonChiro.com. All right, let me check the exact time here. Do I have time for more calls? Yeah, I got time. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, these Democrats and these liberals don't understand how far ahead Trump is on these matters. You know, think about this now. Trump probably knows that, you know, the Southern Poverty Law Center or the ACLU is going to take this executive order to court. He knows that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and this is not, and it's probably going to be when it comes down, the decision is probably going to be 8-1. You know, with only Ketanji.
Yeah, maybe so. You're right. Hey, listen, I'm out of time for the hour, but you make some good points, Mike. If you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get back to the calls after the break. 888-465-2631. It's time for our top of the hour. We'll be right back after this. Oh, my goodness. God. Oh, my goodness. You know, it doesn't matter what the courts rule on it. You know, Trump is smoking out these American haters, you know, and they're going to look like what they are, monsters, when they start burning the flags all over the United States, which will happen because the left have no sense. They'll probably do them at their pro-illegal immigrant events around the country. So ICE can show up and start doing some arrest. Very good calls today so far. Very good calls. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. I'll take a few more calls from the last hour, then I'll start to get into some other issues. But I think my position on the flag issue is as ironclad of a position that you could possibly have. I think I made the right perfect case. And I don't see any aspect of anything I said in 90 minutes about it in the least bit debatable. I don't think I've ever been as right on an issue as I am on that one. I don't know. What do you guys think? If you were listening from the beginning at 5:20 when I started. And guys, a lot of you know, a lot of you may not know, I've been starting the show early. I started this on Thursday. And so today I started 40 minutes before the radio show started and taking calls and everything else early on. So make sure you are subscribed and you got that notification bell checked so you get a notification when I go live early. And I've been expanding the length of the show. Started last week, and I'm going to continue to do that. So if you missed that part of the show, go back and watch it. Sometimes these callers will just hand you a line that you just can't, you know, you just got to go in and... One minute and we'll be back. Welcome, everyone. Okay, about 30 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. I'm going to take a call or two before I bring up some other topics, but you're welcome to call in about this flag issue. I got to tell you, I have never been so sure that I'm right on a case I've made on an issue as I am on this flag issue, and I spent well over an hour making my case on it, and on that issue, I don't see how anyone could disagree with a syllable of anything I said about it. I've never, it's not often I feel that. I mean, I always think I'm right. If I have an opinion on something, I think it's the right opinion. But I don't usually go and make a long case like I did this morning on something. For whatever reason, I don't do it. And I did, and I just never felt so right about something. But let's see what you all think. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joanne from Tamarack. Good morning.
What's up, Joanne?
I'm wondering if President Trump's ultimate goal with this flag burning is to get all these leftists to come out and burn the flag.
Yes.
To prove that the Supreme Court made this decision and that it might force or encourage the Supreme Court to revisit their 1989 decision.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
It's possible. I think what it's more about is smoking. It's the right thing to do what he did. Don't misunderstand me. But there's also other great consequences of it. And when these lefties come out, they're already doing it. That when they come out and start burning their flags and they out themselves as America haters, and he's ridding the cities of crime, these blue cities that he's going to turn red like Chicago because they're going to be crime-free thanks to his work. It's part of his midterm election strategy. And we could actually gain seats in both houses by quite a lot in the midterms with this great strategy. And this is part of it, I think.
Well, I am wondering, is that possible for the Supreme Court to revisit this issue?
Yeah. And, while the Supreme Court never said you could go out and commit arson, right? And
I think that's what he's doing. We have a conservative Supreme Court right now. Maybe they will overturn that and change that decision.
Correct. Yeah, that's right. All right, appreciate the call from Tamarack. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Go out and commit arson.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Corey from Indiana.
Hey, Corey, what's on your mind?
I'm just trying to understand this idea that we're just going to ignore the Supreme Court 1989 decision that outlaws flag burning. I mean, it's just like very clear. A man was convicted for burning a flag in Texas, and then the Supreme Court said, no, that's First Amendment. Scalia said it. And then you said that we can't burn anything in public. What about all the trash cans that are like famously in all of our Hollywood movies, burning stuff on the sidewalk in public? I mean, when you're watching
a movie, and
you're just going to pretend that's not real, right? You're going to pretend that's not real.
Calm down for a second. You don't have to talk as fast as an auctioneer. I'm here till 9. Okay. When you're watching a movie and you see a fire in the background of a movie, that is a controlled burn where they have a fire inspector on set. And
you're telling me that it's a controlled burn when there's a literal dumpster, like a can. They have this is a very common thing people have on sidewalks, or there's a fire inside of like a trash can. This happens all the time.
If this guy that got arrested yesterday, right? He burned a flag in front of the White House on a sidewalk and was arrested, screaming "Free speech, First Amendment," after he put some type of accelerant on it. You just can't light stuff on fire on sidewalks and say it's your First Amendment. If you,
I mean, we do it all the time.
No, we don't.
You guys do it all the time.
No.
When you
Nope.
protest abortion, when you stand outside
Nope.
Planned Parenthood, you guys
Nope.
born.
Nope.
You guys,
Nope.
Yes.
Nope. No. In fact. Oh, excuse me. In fact.
To read you the state law. I can read you the state law.
No. In fact, during the Autopen administration of Joe Biden, they put people in jail who were simply just praying to Jesus in front of abortion clinics. They weren't burning anything.
They actually never did that. That never happened.
They did. They put a grandmother in prison. Trump let her out.
What actually happened was they arrested people who were harassing people showing up to abortion clinics, not just praying, not just silently sitting there.
They put a grandmother in jail
who
was just praying. She wasn't harassing anyone.
She was not just praying. That's false information. If you
that
can
is not.
Bring it up on the screen for everyone to see, bring it up on the screen. You have control of the screen. Bring it up.
No.
You have control of the screen. Bring it up on there. It just didn't happen.
No, it did happen. Trump let her out. And here's the thing. Okay.
Also.
No, not also. Hold on a second. As an example, it's against the law. You can go to prison for burning a cross. Why is that?
No, absolutely.
That's law here in Florida. No, that is not true. In almost every state in the United States, it's in almost every place in the United States. You can say it's not true, but it is true. You cannot burn a cross.
It's
a hate crime.
Look it up. I can't show it for you. I'm on my computer, and there is no such law.
Listen. There is a law.
Yes.
This is not excuse me. This is not a high school book report or a college term paper. Okay? This is a program that discusses the news, and when you get older, you have a lot of life experience and knowledge. It is a crime to burn crosses. It's considered hate speech because of you Democrats and the Klan doing it back in those days. So you can't burn a cross.
Oh, the Democrats. You mean all the people from the South that are now Republicans?
They're not, that's also not true. See what
That
public
is 100%
education has
true,
done?
buddy.
No,
you
it's
just don't
not.
understand American history when you say that. When you
No,
say
I have a
Democrats are the
degree in
actual
America.
KKK,
I have a degree in history. I'm very well
No, you
educated.
don't. I
Yes, I
guarantee
do.
you don't.
I do. I have a.
Okay,
I have
so
a-
why did?
You want me to
okay,
show
so
you
if
that
believe
too?
That, let me ask you. If you believe that all the Democrats are the KKK, why are all the Republicans from the South now?
Well, there's been, I'm from Ohio originally. Now I live in the
Right.
deep south of Florida. We're
So
not
you're
talking
gonna
about
deny
people.
that you're gonna
We're not
deny
talking
that
about
Alabama's
people
a
of
red state?
today. We're not talking about
So
the
you're an
people of
American
today.
history person. You're an American history person, and you must know that South Carolina had the most slaves, right?
Okay.
So why is that a red state now?
Well, here's the deal. Okay, we're not talking about
See,
today.
Exactly. You
Excuse
guys
me.
try to
Hold
propagate this
on.
idea.
Hold on a second. You're on hold because you won't stop. We're not talking about today. When you talk about that, we're talking about the past. Ku Klux Klan was a Democrat social activist organization. They were like the original SEIU. They were the Ku Klux Klan was established by Democrats, and during all of their height and fame of all their garbage, it was all Democrats. Hold on, did I lose that guy?
Talking about today.
What's your name? You're on the air.
On a second.
I think I got my lines mixed up. Okay, are you back? All right.
Hello?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I lost that last caller by mistake. He's welcome to call back. Okay? It is against the law pretty much in every part of the United States to burn crosses. It's a hate crime. You can be arrested and go to jail for it. Okay? Number two, it is also illegal to light things on fire on sidewalks and put accelerants on them. It's only the American flag that they say that you can light. No, it is against the law to light anything on fire in public, on public sidewalks in a crowd. Whether it's a flag, whether it's garbage, whether it's your shoe, whether it's your hat. You just can't go around and commit arson, guys. Okay? This is a liberal urban legend. All right. Hold on. Let me check the time here. What do I got to do next? Okay. Oh, yes. Hold on a second here. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Have any of you guys seen me on TV recently? Been on TV a few times recently. And I got to tell you, I was looking at my Instagram the other day, and I put up a photograph of me, I don't know, about 6 months ago. And when I did a television appearance, and then the last time I was on TV, I don't know, about a week or so ago, I posted a photograph of me on TV then, and it's two different people. I'm a lot less round than I used to be. My face looks so different. I've got the definition of my face back. It's not round anymore. I got my chin. I got my bone structure. I got my neck back. And I feel great. But I went on television and I wore a shirt and tie. And what was crazy about it, it was the first time, and I can't tell you how long. I don't wear a shirt and tie very often, okay? On the cruises I do. But this last appearance I did on television where I wore a suit and tie, you may have seen it, I could button up the top button on my shirt, and I wasn't joking. Before, if I could get the button, I wouldn't be able to talk. It'd be like this. And the shirt fit perfect. And I've had that shirt for a long, 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 long time because I don't wear a shirt and tie that often, so they last me forever. And I was so excited when I could button, because my wife's like, oh, no, you got to button the top button. I said, I don't know. I don't think I can. She's like, oh, let's try. And not only did it button perfectly, it fit perfectly. It wasn't tight or anything. It fit like it was supposed to fit. It's because of Coastal Weight Loss Secret. Give them a call. My results are typical, okay? And I lost about 1 pound a day without exercise, no drugs, no pills, no injections, eating foods I would normally eat. You can too. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. We'll be right back. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Oh, my goodness. I don't know why people think you can just go around and set things on fire all over the place. I just can't understand that that thought process. You're welcome to call me. You're welcome to call on the air. Oh, my goodness. This is a radio station break we're in. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, guys, all right? You can agree or disagree and call. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. Just share your opinions. But when you hear Gen Zers call in, millennials too, but they just have this alt view of history. It's like they learned history from reading Harry Turtledove. Any of you guys know? I'll throw that out on the air. I like that. It's so funny. Yeah, we're 2 hours in now because I started the show early. We got about a minute. We'll be back. Callers on hold. Stand by. We'll be back in less than 30 seconds. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. If you're on hold, stand by. You know, talking to some of these younger callers, the Gen Zs and the millennials, and they have this alt view of history, and it's almost like they've replaced the history books in our colleges and public schools with Harry Turtledove novels, if you're familiar with Harry Turtledove. I mean, they just have this alt view of history that they're just so sure is real. Oh, boy. I tell you, you got to feel sorry for them, don't you? All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. Good morning, Brian. This is Vilka from Central Florida.
Hey, what's up?
Yes, I'm glad. Thank you so much for addressing this issue because when I came from Puerto Rico in 1978, and I witnessed the first time the burning of the flag in the news, I was mortified.
Yeah.
I could not believe that was accepted. So if you're coming from Puerto Rico would never do that. That would be considered a hate crime. And I could not believe that the Supreme Court actually accepted this because
but that's not exactly
true.
See, that what I've been talking about this morning. That's not the Supreme Court did not say you can go out and commit arson whenever you feel like it, as long as you're doing it with an American flag. You can burn the American flag in a legal controlled situation that is not on a public sidewalk covered with accelerant around a crowd. Okay? You just can't do it. It's illegal.
But that's not what coming from Puerto Rico, that's not what I heard. I did not heard of that, what you are saying on the air.
No one has.
What I heard was
no one has heard
that
this.
the Supreme Court was allowing it.
Well,
and that was motivating for
no
me.
No one has heard what you've heard from me this morning. That's why I felt, I was not going to talk about this issue as more than just a mention. And then when I've seen the news coverage, in particular this Fox coverage of it, people think that the Supreme Court said you can go out and be a pyromaniac so long as you're doing it with the American flag. Nothing could be further from the truth. And I don't think people have really considered it. It's just, you can burn the flag. Supreme Court said so. No, they did not. And that's what I've been trying to articulate today. And I think I've done a pretty good job of it.
Well, thank you so much because this needs to be addressed. Now I know that it wasn't like that.
Now, why the hell? Now, I got a big question for you. Why the hell would you leave Puerto Rico to live in Central Florida? Puerto Rico, we've taken a couple of cruises there. That's one of my favorite spots. I love Puerto Rico. I've been there a bunch of times, and it's beautiful. And Central Florida sucks. It's not even really Florida where you're at.
I'm part of the farm and everything's green. I fell in love with Central Florida because it's nice and green.
Yeah, but Central Florida to me this is why I could never live in Central Florida. One, you don't get the tropical weather that you get in South Florida. Right. That's one, or in Puerto Rico. And two, it's almost like you're landlocked because you're so far from the beach, and that's another problem. And, so no tropics, no beach, and you got the mosquitoes like nobody's business. It's crazy. Central Florida sucks.
Do have a lot of mosquitoes.
There you go. Central Florida sucks. It just sucks.
But I love it, you know.
Okay.
I love the greenery. I fell in love with it.
Okay.
Oh, there was another issue. There was something else I wanted to mention. You remember when President Trump, I think in 2020, sent that drone over there to kill the major general, I think his name was Soleimani.
Soleimani, the Iranian leader of all the terrorism around the world, yeah.
Right. So remember when the leader over there, whatever they call the Shah, went ahead and put a whole bunch of American flags on the floor? And what did a lot of the Iranians did? They did that so the Iranians could step on it. What were they finding out? That a lot of Iranians did not dare to step on the American flag. They were walking around it. So that just shows how much respect they have for the American flag. But yet, we have some crazies here that don't do that.
This is what it is. If you burn any other flag, you're committing a hate crime. The gay flag, the BLM flag, any of these things, except the American flag, And here's the thing. The reason liberals support burning the American flag and no other flag is they believe all of America should be burned down. At one of the Democrat national conventions, I can't remember if this was for the 2015 race or the race before it. Somebody out there will remember. It might have been for Obama's second run. They all had American flags on the convention floor, and they threw all the American flags in the dumpster on the side of the convention hall, and the pictures were all over the internet. I've never seen anything so disgusting in my life. I know. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And because Democrats hate the flag, that's why they want to burn it, and that's one of the reasons that got Trump to bring this up. He wants people to see the ugliness of the left. They're going to be burning flags all over the country now. These idiots.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right, appreciate the call from Central Florida. All right, you take care. Great call. Very smart woman. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Corey from Indiana again.
Oh yeah, okay. I told you could call back because we lost your call. But I've forgotten where we were in the conversation, but you were disconnected by accident, and I don't want you to think I don't let the other side have their voice.
Well, I appreciate that. That's quite fair. I just want to start out by saying, I'm a liberal, as you can probably tell. You've been talking about Gen Z and liberals. I'm never going to burn the American flag. America is the greatest nation on this planet, by far, up and above. But the point is, the truth is, the facts is that we are allowed to burn American flags for political protest. That is just simply what Justice Scalia.
No, that's not true. And I love how the liberals all of a sudden like Scalia. I
don't. I hate Scalia.
Yeah, except on this. Okay,
I'm just citing him to you.
Here's the thing. They did not say, the Supreme Court did not say that you could go on a public sidewalk with some type of flammable accelerant and
exactly what they said.
No, it is not. It is not what they said.
Can I say one thing?
No, let me finish. The burning of a flag is the proper way to dispose of the American flag, okay? And there are certain controlled and legal ways that you can even burn garbage. But you cannot burn things at a public demonstration.
Yes,
no, that's not what the Supreme Court said.
Wait, Brian, have you looked at the Texas v. Johnson case? The background is, let me just get the statement out before you interrupt me, because I interrupted you and I stopped interrupting you. A kid, a communist, a freaky communist, was at the 1984 Republican National Convention protesting Ronald Reagan's policies, okay? And in that public, outside of the convention center, on the sidewalk, he burned a flag. He was arrested by Texas, and it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court overturned it. He was literally burning a flag.
See, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. They rule he couldn't be charged with some type of crime for burning the flag itself. However, you can be charged with creating a fire in a place that you're not allowed to start. So you may not be able to charge. You may not be able to prosecute them for the crime of burning the flag. You can charge them for an illegal fire, and that would be an illegal fire. But listen, I got to. Listen, I was a senior in high school in '89. I don't remember all the details of the incident, but sometimes
I wasn't even born yet.
But maybe they just made a mistake in the charging. All right, take care. I appreciate the call, but no, you just can't go around and commit arson and be a pyromaniac. Oh, yes, exactly. And sometimes people get overcharged with crimes. Sometimes even in high-profile murder cases. George Zimmerman got overcharged. That's why he got away with killing Trayvon Martin. He should be in prison, George Zimmerman. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to bring up some other topics, but you're welcome to continue to call in about that if you want. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back with more calls in just a few minutes. This is our bottom of the hour break on the radio. If you're new to the program, make sure that you subscribe, all right? And click that notification bell because I put so much content on this channel. And my podcast, I start this show much earlier than the radio show starts. I go late. I'm always doing things every day of the week. So if you're subscribed, you got that notification bell clicked, you'll get a notification every time I go live. Less than 2 minutes, we'll be back. I'll take another call or two, and then I got to get into some other issues too. Just over a minute, and we will be back. If you're on hold, stand by. Talk about what you if you want to talk, you call me on the air. I don't. You got to call me on the air to talk to me about these things. I don't talk to the chat during the show, guys. Sorry. I'll take another call or two then, but I got to get to some other issues as well. But you're welcome to call about this for the rest of the show as I bring up other things. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. I'll take another call or two before I bring up some other things because there's a lot to cover, but you're welcome to call in about this flag issue throughout the program as I move on to other topics. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name's Braden McMahon, calling from Texas.
All right, hold on, Texas. My phones are ringing off the hook, so I'm answering all the lines. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Texas.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for letting me on.
There we go.
I have two concerns. One, you keep saying that the Supreme Court did not give that ability under free speech, but I'd push back against that, being there's the case law shows it, whether it be
Okay,
Texas
let me take it away from the
Johnson.
flag for a second, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Just because they said you can burn the flag doesn't mean you can do it anywhere, because it could be, as an example, it's not illegal to have sex, correct?
No.
Okay, but can I have sex on a public sidewalk in front of the White House, or would I be arrested?
But I would say there's a large difference there.
No, there's just because something is legal to do doesn't mean it's legal to do everywhere. So, as an example, let me talk about the issue in the news today, okay? This idiot that's all over the news that burned a flag in front of the White House yesterday. He was he may be a veteran, probably a fake veteran, but he could be a veteran. He had like some military-looking clothes he bought off Amazon or something. He's on a sidewalk in front of the White House. He took out some type of flammable liquid. Not only did he soak the flag with it, because they don't burn that easily, he sprayed the whole area of the sidewalk, and you could see, if you watch the whole video, a huge wet spot of this liquid, and then he lit it on fire, and it was a big fire. You can't go around committing arson on public sidewalks. You can burn a flag for free as a free speech expression in a legal and controlled area to burn things. Not just anywhere you want. Just like you can't have sex anywhere you want.
what I push back to that, and there is one point on that I agree with, is that the only time it is not is time, place, and manner, as set forth by Texas versus Johnson.
Oh, now we got all these lawyers. You know, they're sitting around the talking point of this 89 case, and they're all pretending to be legal experts. Give me a break. You know, don't read some article or a Wikipedia thing and think you know what you're talking about. It's not about that case. The Supreme Court did not say you can burn a flag anywhere you want. In that case, okay, the person, a lot of times, law enforcement and prosecutors overcharge people. Sometimes they take someone to trial on first-degree murder and it's a second-degree murder or a manslaughter case, and they've overcharged them. The jury finds them not guilty of first-degree murder, but it might have been manslaughter, but it wasn't an option. So that Supreme Court case out of Texas did not say that you can go and be an arsonist anywhere you want as long as it's with an American flag. That's just not true. And I know that's hard to understand because we've all heard this lie since 89.
Well, I can also say the precedent wasn't set in 89. It was set in Clark versus Community of Creative Nonviolence.
All right. I mean, you know, Polly want a cracker. I'm not this. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, not reading some Wikipedia article. I'm sorry, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning, Brian.
Hey,
This is
Richie. Hey, Richie.
Yeah. How you doing this morning? First of all, I want to say just a couple things. As a little boy, I grew up, and one of the first things I learned, I learned Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the flag. We used to have Flag Day in this country and going back in the 50s and 60s, before Vietnam, you used to see flags all over the place, American flags.
After 9/11, everybody had them?
Right. I think that Judge Scalia got it wrong. I think this should be a test case like they got abortion wrong. I think this should go back to the Supreme Court, and it should be straightened out. The fact of the matter is you see all these people, the soldiers have lost their lives defending that flag. You see first responders. When you see coffins coming off of an airplane from military coffins, and you see funerals of first responders, police, and firemen who are protecting us. It's draped in the American flag. When you go to a funeral of a fallen soldier, the flag is folded and handed to the widow. This is more than just a symbol and free speech. This is 100% what you're saying. These are people that hate this country so much. And the people that call up and they say they're defending this First Amendment on this one, they're exposing themselves like Trump is going to do.
And Richie, you know, I'm making it. I agree with everything you said, but I'm making the case in a little bit different way. You know, you just can't go around and start fires anywhere you want. Just and say, well, it's the American flag.
Yeah, but
you know, it's dangerous. It's arson, and Scalia did not say it's okay to go commit arson anywhere you want.
No, but that's a technicality, Brian, and you and I both know that. You're right on it. You're right on it. You're right on it. But the point is that the people that are calling you up this morning and the people that defend this are not defending the First Amendment and free speech. They're defending the fact that they hate the United States, and anyone with any kind of a brain would see that.
I mean everyone knows if you burn a Quran or BLM flag or the gay, transgender, rainbow flag, you're going to be arrested and charged with a hate crime. That's hate speech. It's only the American, and the reason that it's okay is because they think everybody should hate the United States and they want to see the country burned down. They that's how the left feel about it.
Yeah. 100%. You're 100% right. And they're going to say that, well, hate speech is one thing, political speech is another. They get into that jargon. The lawyers, like Greg, too, would call you up and he would go through his lawyerism. It's being decent.
See, what you do, like when this guy yesterday, you know, what'll happen, these liberals are going to start burning flags everywhere. So what you charge them with is not with burning the flag. You charge them with arson in a public space. And what that guy did yesterday what that guy did yesterday is very dangerous. He could have set himself on fire.
I agree, but I would charge him with burning the American flag and take it to the Supreme Court for another test.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
They're going to do it anyway.
That's fine with
I
me.
think they got it wrong the first time. I think they got it wrong. I think, and if they see what's happened into this country since 1989, they're going to realize they got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting, man.
No,
and for you to go and
I
think-
agree with you.
Yeah,
I believe that burning the American flag should be
That's
illegal.
disgusting.
I think it should be illegal. I do agree with that. All right, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, it's Don from Pompano.
Yes, Pompano.
Okay. What I wanted to do is I wanted to button up with the gentleman that gave you the list of conservative names and also attach it to what Joellen said about you last week. And that is, and this is my opinion, is that you criticize all these conservatives because you are really what you accuse other people of being, and that is a panikin, a phony MAGA person, a phony conservative. As soon as the Steve Kane show is no longer in existence, you will be a liberal because you already are a liberal.
Are you kidding?
All you do
You
is
know,
bash
I have excuse me. My podcast and my YouTube channel are have millions of listeners and viewers every single month apart from this. And for you to call me fake MAGA, I mean, give me an example of give me my excuse me. Give me an example. Excuse me. Let me finish the question before you answer. This isn't Jeopardy. You don't have to buzz in. Okay. Give me an example of me being fake MAGA. Most recent example.
Because when after the Maria Bartiromo interview with Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, you completely had the wrong take on it. And JJ from Mass told you did. You got mad and you didn't answer.
I was not okay. I misunderstood. No. Slow down. Maybe you're on to. Excuse me. Maybe you're on to something. No. You listen. He realized what a stupid thing he just said. No. You listen. See, I have a different definition of MAGA than you do. Okay? My definition of MAGA is my faithful. Excuse me. My definition of being MAGA is my 150% support of everything President Trump says and does. Right? Your definition of MAGA is a little different. You can never make a mistake about something. That's an interesting definition.
No, but you've done it repeatedly, and then you pull this sexist bull crap with Joe Ellen. Oh, you got a thing for Dan Bongino? You did the same thing with Tulsi Gabbard with guys who called in and supported her. You did not.
How does that? You said
Christy no.
Excuse me. How does that make me not MAGA? I support President Trump. I have never criticized President Trump. I have never disagreed with President Trump, and I never will. And I've been saying that for 10 years, and it's never happened. These other people aren't Donald Trump, okay? Only Donald Trump is infallible in the MAGA movement, okay? Oh, my goodness. Now he's trying to hear himself on the radio. Oh, my goodness. All right, listen. Let me talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Let's talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas. You know, I'm not a gambling man. You know, we go on our cruises. I don't go to the casino. I don't gamble in the casino. I did go to the casino with my daughter a couple cruises ago, and I don't even give my daughter money for the casino. I make her spend her own money. I'm not a gambler, and that's why I don't like the stock market. I like sure things, and one of those sure things are annuities, because in an annuity, your money's never at risk. No matter what happens in the stock market, it could collapse tomorrow. Your money is safe. Plus, you have that guaranteed income stream every month for the rest of your life in your retirement. It's a pretty amazing thing. You want to call Jupiter Joe Thomas. And there's so many different types of annuities for different things that I talk with him about all the time. And I thought there was just one kind of thing with annuities. That's not the case. There's one of the ones, there's a couple things I really like. On top of that, your money's never at risk, and you got a guaranteed revenue stream and income for the rest of your life and all that. That's all spectacular and beautiful and perfect. But there's all kinds of other things. And two that I really like is this. There's the one where you get the signing bonus. One is a 10% bonus. Before you even get back to your car from meeting with Joe Thomas, you've already made 10% on your money. Isn't that something? And there's some where you can even make more than that on your money. There's another one when there's a health disability with you or your spouse. There's an income doubler on that monthly income. There's just so many great things. Give Joe Thomas a call. It's a no-charge consultation. You can take advantage of that no-charge consultation no matter where you are in the United States, so because it can be on the phone or in person. And Joe Thomas, he'll put together a custom proposal for you based on your situation and your goals. Give him a call. It's 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. We'll be right back. All right. Okay, we got a couple minutes and we'll be back, guys. We'll be back in about a minute. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You're talking to me, Brian?
Yes, I'm talking to you. What's on your mind?
How you doing? Yeah, this is Benny from Uruguay. I haven't talked to you for a long time.
Oh, hey. What's up, Uruguay? Are you in Uruguay or you're originally from Uruguay?
I'm original from Uruguay, yes.
Okay, what's on your mind? Okay, what's on your mind today?
I don't know. I don't know what topic you're talking today because I was going to call you Friday because it's an open topic. But anyway, my point was saying hi to you, and if you need a witness how loyal you are to Trump, you can call me anytime. I'll be the witness.
Oh, yeah. You know, listen, there's a lot of people that don't like me that say they're, Joe Ellen's Joe Ellen hates me. She'll deny it, but there, it's okay. It's, if you're doing this kind of business, if everybody likes you, it's probably not that interesting of a program. You need to have some people out there who take issue with you.
Yeah, I listen, and then sometimes I feel like I'm picking up the phone and tell you to say something to these people, that they're really, you are above a lot of people who call you, and all those people that call you just to argue for stupid things, Unfortunately, Americans are not really involved in politics. They just want results. That's the reality.
Well, that's true. We're a very fast-paced country, and we do want results. And that's one of the reasons Donald Trump is so popular, because he actually delivers results, not political rhetoric, like ridding D.C. of crime, for example.
Exactly. I know. The man is not, as a president, he's not there to argue politically with everybody who disagree with him. He's got a lot of things in his mind. There's a lot of going on in this country. Let me tell you, I came to this country when I was 20 years old, and it was completely different than this situation that this country is going through. It's like how can I come to this country illegally, and have the audacity to join protest because I want my rights? This is insane.
Yeah.
This is insane. You know what? My hometown, Uruguay, it's one of the countries that you can even get a citizenship.
Consultation, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
All right, take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I just wanted to call in and say that I agree 100% that burning things like the flag and other things, like from trash to files and stuff like that, absolutely is a bad thing. I just disagree with, doing things like that. I think it's a bad thing.
Okay. You want to repeat? You want to repeat what you're going to say again because I didn't get the response you wanted. You want to repeat it? Instead of trying to be cute. Listen. Appreciate the call. What President Trump is doing is on so many fronts is amazing. Yesterday there was a lot of talk about the crime that he's ending in Washington, D.C. And Vice President J.D. Vance was in the Oval Office. This was the president's first press conference yesterday. And it was a very interesting press conference, no doubt about it. But J.D. Vance, he said, we haven't had a murder in, 12 days at the time? 12 days. And that's a record. Nobody even remembers. There's not, Stephen Miller said, there's not a cop on the D.C. police force that remembers where they've gone a week without a murder in D.C. Think about that. And so there are about 7 people or so that are alive who would not be alive if President Trump had not moved in and ended crime in D.C. That's what the left are arguing against. And Fox News, they went to the streets and interviewed some people on the streets of D.C. Listen.
Well, I'm glad they're cracking down on crime. That's all I can say.
I feel a lot safer, so I'm actually really happy.
I feel like the nation's finally becoming safe again with this, so it's nice that he has our backs and he's protecting us.
Occasionally we would have people come in and guys trying to come in and grab things off the shelf and run. That I'm not afraid of anymore.
Positive effect of it is decreasing crime. I do feel safer when they're around.
I mean, they cannot find real residents and real people who are opposed to what's happening. And, and when they go to Chicago, President Trump says he thinks they could end the crime in Chicago in about a week. That's amazing to me, what's happened in D.C. And it was such a dangerous place. And was it Stephen Miller who said people are wearing watches now? Out in public, they're wearing their watches. President Trump said something that was really interesting, to the press a couple of times yesterday. He says, you and the press, no, because you couldn't. He said, you and the press could not walk to your offices without security. The crime was so bad, but you won't report that because of your bosses. That's so true. So the fake Maryland man, there was a great question. If you're on hold, hang in there. I got to get some of these other things in. But you're welcome to, if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. President Trump in the Oval Office in the first press conference was asked about the fake Maryland man yesterday. It was a great question, and President Trump had an incredible answer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, MS-13 gangbanger and human trafficker Kilmar Abrego Garcia turned himself into ICE in Baltimore. Do you have any comment on this? And why are the Democrats so emotionally attached to this man who beats his wife and is part of a terrorist organization?
I mean, what a great question. I don't know who asked that, but what a great question. Wife beater, on top of the other stuff, a wife beater. That's really a lowlife, And I was wondering, all that crowdfunding money that his family raised, do you think his wife got to keep that money, or did MS-13 come in and take it? I bet you they took it. But the president's answer was spectacular.
Because they think he's going to be good for votes, and I think he's very bad for votes. These people are deranged. He's not good for votes. He beat the hell out of his wife. His wife is afraid to even talk about him. She's been mauled by this animal. And, through a system of liberal courts, he's doing things. But, no, we have that under control. And Pam has got that very much under control. Do you want to comment on it, Pam?
No, we've got him under control. He will no longer terrorize our country. He's currently charged with human smuggling, including children. The guy needs to be in prison. He doesn't need to be on the streets like all these liberals want him to be. And as part of this operation here in D.C., we've also taken off MS-13 members. We've taken, I think just last night, we got a TDA guy off our streets right here, right around from where we all work. Another TDA member gone because of this project. So we're going to keep America safe from all of these foreign terrorist organizations, including Abrego Garcia.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, there's nothing good about this guy. I mean, he's like the worst of the worst type of man you can be. And they've turned him into like he's their new George Floyd. It's really sad. It really is. It's sick, is what it is. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. Oh, I hit that at the same time he was talking. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, hey, Jay. What's up?
I don't know. I don't understand why we're talking about the flag today. I really don't. I have a hard problem with this.
Well, the flag of the United States is an important symbol of our great country.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Because you got mad with me because I told you that your nutball changed the flag.
He didn't.
But you was okay with that.
You saw a logo on a website. They did not change the flag, Jay.
No,
all right.
I did not.
I mean, I'm talking to lunatics today. I mean, did they put in a phone in the insane asylum that I'm getting calls on? Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm John. I'm calling from New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
All right. What's up, John?
You know, I don't really understand, like, what all you're doing on the show. I just saw the number to call, and I see you're supporting, the president and everything.
Absolutely.
So I voted for him
But
all 3 times, right?
Yeah, give me the but.
And I'm really embarrassed about it, and I think you should be too. So, and I'll
all right. Give me an example of something President Trump has done that you're embarrassed of as a 3-time Trump voter.
Okay, sure. So going to war on behalf of Israel, criminalizing free speech.
Oh, slow down right there. Slow down. No, slow down. See, I consider myself to be pretty up to speed on the news, but you mentioned something that
I'm sure you do.
But you mentioned something that I seem to have missed. The United States is in a state of war?
See, what you're doing now is you're playing a word game. And
no, you said he's put us in a. You said we've gone to war for Israel. What war are we in?
Sir,
what war are we in?
We used our military to commit acts of military aggression against a foreign power on behalf of another.
What are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about?
When we bombed Iran.
That wasn't for Israel. That wasn't for Israel.
Can I please articulate a thought? Okay. So
I don't think you can.
Iran. You're interrupting me. You're being incredibly rude, which is typical for partisans, right? You're not interested in the truth. You're a partisan hack. So Iran has never attacked a neighbor. Israel has attacked all their neighbors. Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. Israel has between 60 and 200 nuclear weapons. Iran is a signature of the NPT. Israel refuses to sign. Iran allows cooperation with international.
Are you Iranian American?
I'm American. I'm an old stock American. My family's been here since 1640.
Okay, so you're a long-time American. This doesn't sound like a long-time American blue blood accent, but I'll go with that.
No, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like someone who's actually informed and who has.
Well, calm down. Don't get hysterical. You made a statement. Listen, I'm gonna respond to what you said. I want to do it with you on the phone, but if you won't let me, I'll hang up and do it without you. But you said, no, you're interrupting. It's my show. You're interrupting me, and I'm allowing you to speak. You said that Iran's never attacked. Excuse me. Iran is behind almost all of the Islamic terrorism in the world and have been for decades.
You know what? That would actually be Israel. Israel created Hamas. Israel created ISIS.
No, Iran is behind all of it. And also, you say you voted for. Excuse me, I'm not done with my. I'm not done with my answer. I'm not done with.
You're not done with your propaganda and lies. Is what you're not done with. You're a shill.
You said okay. You said that Iran hasn't done anything. To us. Iran on multiple.
I said Iran has never attacked a neighbor.
Not true. Iran. Excuse.
Never declared war on a neighbor.
Do you want to be a part of the conversation?
You're not having a conversation. You're a moron. You are defending.
All right. Okay. Slow down. All right. I appreciate the call. I can't talk with this guy. You think that guy comes from a 1619? Okay. Here's the thing. Iran has on multiple occasions tried to assassinate the president of the United States. And this was widely reported. They had hit squads here during the campaign, and there were other instances too in his first term. Okay? So trying to assassinate a candidate for president of the United States and a president of the United States is an act of war. And I would say based on President Trump's reaction to Israel, he's been to Iran. He's been very nice to Iran, considering that they've been trying to assassinate him. Okay? Now, I wanted to tell that to him, and he may call back and claim that I don't let him talk or anything. But, this is what you got to understand. With Gen Z and millennials, they're not used to phone conversations because everything's done on DMs and text, and they don't know how to take turns on a telephone call. So if there's any educators out there, can you start teaching kids how to speak on the phone again in elementary school like I used to learn? If you're on hold, stand by. Every line on the board is lit. We'll be right back. My goodness, guys. But what do you guys think, though, when I talk a lot about how Gen Z in particular, some of the younger millennials, that because they don't talk on their phones, they don't know how to have a phone conversation. That's why I try to keep them on as much, but they don't know how to talk on a phone. Because everything's so interpersonal with text and DMs and such. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I feel when I talk to so many of them. And that seems to be a common thing. Now, one opening on the board. You've got to take turns on a phone conversation, in particular on a program like this. Yeah, I'm Gen X, Generation X, the last hardworking generation. We got about 90 seconds or so, and we'll be back. Phone etiquette classes, yeah. That'd be a very good business to start. Phone etiquette classes. Every line on the board is lit. Got about 45, 50 seconds. Stand by. All right, we are back. There is one opening on our board. Before I go to the calls, I just want to say, you know, you see this with the Gen Z age callers, some of the younger millennials. They don't know how to talk on a phone properly because they don't do it. All their communication is through DMs and text. When they call me, it may be the first time they've ever used their phone as an actual phone. And, you know, me and you, not only did we learn phone etiquette in school, that was something we used to learn in kindergarten and stuff. But, you know, remember party lines and everything else when you guys were... Did any of you guys ever have a party line? Oh, man, that was so cool and all that. You know, we would have phone conversations that would seem to go on for days, especially during the summer, all night long. And they just don't know how to have phone conversations. And I try to be patient with people of that age when they call because I know they don't know phone etiquette to have a conversation on a phone. But... unfortunately, it's difficult sometimes. All right, let's go back to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes. Good morning from Florida. This is Rob. We spoke last week.
Hey, Rob.
On a point with the American flag. I grew up in a house. I'm 73. Going back to the early 60s, my father never spoke about what he did and what he didn't do when he was in the Army. Turns out he was a veteran. He was a young military officer at Pearl Harbor in the military police on December 7th of 41.
Wow.
We never spoke about that till I was actually in the military myself. Coming home from Kennedy Airport in my dress greens and having somebody spit on my uniform. I went ballistic, had all to do to keep my hands at my side. I walked away. Was it an hour and a half later in Brooklyn watching someone burning a flag? I don't condone violence, but I immediately got in the middle, but construction workers pushed me back, and they dealt with the situation. People that do that should take a second to pick up a book and read what the flag, other than the United States, what the stripes and the stars stand for, and maybe, just maybe, they think a little bit before trying to burn it.
Yeah. No, they don't even know. You know, you're right. They don't even know. They probably don't even teach that in school these days.
No more. That's why President Trump is another one. The right thing, get in the schools again, where you could stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, which is not separation of church and religion and church and state. It was just the right thing to do. I remember as a school child. I also remember having drills where we went under the desk during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Not that going under a school desk was going to stop an atomic bomb, but it was just the way it was. But same with milk and cookies in school. I go back to the days there were no free lunches. Parents, you know, that from immigration, years and years, we were born here, we're Americans. My daughter chose, she married rich, she moved to Scotland. She don't want to come back for one reason, not because of the country or any political reason. She's very comfortable there, and she loves it, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah.
But, again, the flag flies high. Any nation I've been in, we spoke last week, I did international policing. In all those countries, which were third world nations, they were thrilled to see the American flag flying on the
You know, I give you an example. You know, like, my wife and I have wanted to put a flagpole in our front yard. We got to go through HOA approval to do it, which is very difficult. You know, so why do I need HOA approval to raise my flag, but you're telling me I'm allowed to burn it and the HOA can do nothing? I don't think so. You know, if I burn it on my sidewalk, I think that's an HOA violation as well. There's a lot of liberal urban legends out there. This is one of them. Well, hey, listen, I appreciate the call, and call me again sometime.
Okay, you have a great day.
You too. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Why do I need HOA approval?
You're on the air. Yeah.
It's Corey from Indiana.
It's one call per show, but I'll let you through since you're back on.
That's okay. I won't take up anyone's time if you don't want me to. I appreciate you having me on, so I won't do that if people like to
go ahead. What's on your mind? You're here.
I was just curious about the comment you had earlier about the woman being arrested outside of the abortion clinic. I just wanted to clarify, are you talking about the Scotland case or the case where it actually happened in the United States?
I don't remember no, in the United States. There was a grandmother who got arrested for praying.
Yeah. So I was talking about the one in the United States. I looked up online after we talked, and there was one in Scotland, and that one was different than the one in the United States. But
no, I wasn't talking about Scotland. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well,
all right. Appreciate the call. One call per day. You're on the air. Oh, hold on. Let me answer all these lines. They're ringing off the hook. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Ben. I'm calling from Connecticut.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk to you. I've been watching your show for a while. I see that you're very good at speaking, but I can't seem to find any meaning behind anything you say.
Oh.
Most often because a lot of your views are very short-sighted.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk to you about that.
For a moment, maybe. I'll see. Give me an example of my most recent short-sighted view that you can't understand. Pick a recent example of something I've said.
Like, for example, like to call back to that early conversation that you had not too long ago about, the Iranian conflict and how Israel is not the primary aggressor.
No, excuse me. The caller, by the way, was that you I was talking to?
No, that was not.
Okay. The guy, he said Iran has not been an aggressor. We went to war for Israel. Iran has been trying to kill President Trump for years. He took out General Soleimani in his first term. And since he took out Soleimani, there have been multiple assassination attempts on his life by Iran. Recently, during the presidential campaign, it was widely reported that there were Iranian assassination squads in the United States. The president was flying around during the campaign. He was flying around on decoy aircraft, not Trump Force One, to rallies so he could travel in secret because his life was in danger. And I'm here to tell you that President Trump taking out that nuclear facility in Iran was very mild compared to what he should do to Iran, considering they've been trying to assassinate him for years. So to say that Iran has done nothing to garner a military strike from the United States not only is 100% false, there's other examples, but that's an act of war, what they were doing.
Well, listening to what you said, and I'll take what you said into consideration. I'll ask you a few questions.
No. I answered. No. Excuse me. This is not. I'm not doing a one. No. I am not doing a one-on-one interview with you. You brought something up. I asked you to give an example. I shot it down. Is trying to assassinate an American presidential candidate? I don't care what your question is. You're not going to go from question to question and hop around.
Hello?
Yeah, you're not going to hop around. You said you don't get my views. I asked you to give an example. You gave one.
You gave about what you just said. I'm not
respond. I'm not. Don't ask another question. My question to you is Iran trying to assassinate a president of the United States an act of war?
My question is...
No, that's not a no. No, I answered your question. Answer mine. Is Iran trying to assassinate a presidential candidate and a former president an act of war? Yes or no?
Again, short-sighted.
Short-sighted. Oh, my goodness. Short-sighted. What an idiot. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Sighted.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
David, North Carolina.
All right, David. Go ahead, David. All right, boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Omar. I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan.
All right, Omar. What's up?
All right. Well, I saw the title of your stream, and it was about Trump saves the flag or something along those lines.
That's what he's doing. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're in favor of making it a felony to burn the American flag?
What I'm saying is I am opposed to burning anything that's a flag of any kind. What I'm telling you is that you don't have, even the current laws on the books, as interpreted by the Supreme Court of the United States, do not allow you to go out and commit arson in public spaces. And if you're at a protest and you're burning an American flag, like this guy did yesterday in front of the White House, you're committing a crime by starting a fire in public. The Supreme Court didn't say that you're allowed to burn the American flag in public spaces.
Well, that's exactly the wording of the executive order that he said. It was specifically about the American flag in particular.
Oh, I agree with outlawing the burning of the American flag. Flag desecration, I'm opposed to that, yes.
You are opposed to flag desecration. Why?
Because the flag of the United States is an important symbol of our great country, and there are people who have sacrificed their lives for that flag, and it's a sacred image in this country, a sacred icon, the American flag.
Do you know where flag burning?
I don't care where it came from. The modern flag burning are a bunch of liberal Vietnam draft dodgers who were burning it for fun at protests in the 60s. Donald Trump did not protest the war, and he did not dodge the draft.
He dodged the draft.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Mr. Bone Spurs?
Nope. No, he didn't. You can't be in the service with bone spurs.
Well, you can also.
No, most of you need to have perfect feet to go to Vietnam. My father, who's a Vietnam veteran, still has problems with his feet that he encountered when he was in Vietnam. You have to have perfect feet to go into the service and go to Vietnam. But regardless of that, has nothing to do with flag burning.
Your father was a hero. Trump was not.
No, President Trump was shot, and he got up and continued the speech. That's pretty heroic when the Never Trumpers shot him in Butler.
A lot of people were shot, and they're not heroes.
President Trump was shot by a Never Trumper, and he got back up covered in blood to continue the speech.
Okay, what does that have to do with him dodging the draft?
Because he didn't. But you called in about flag burning, and you're all over the place. Are you okay?
Well, about flag burning. I mean, it is true that that it started from protesting to Vietnam.
I don't need a history lesson here, okay? This isn't your college lecture class, okay? You cannot burn things in public and public sidewalks.
Well, then why just make it about the American flag? Why just say that you can't burn anything in protests?
Well,
the specific language was about burning the flag.
There are fire codes. There are local ordinances that prevent you from starting fires.
But again, that's not what was the language of the executive order. The executive order language,
yeah,
which, by the way,
which I agree with. There should be what you'll find with that executive order is that Pam Bondi, because it also said local ordinances, Pam Bondi will go after them for arson, not burning the flag, but for arson. Listen, I'm up against a break. I got to run, but call me again sometime. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. There are 2 openings on the board. We'll be right back. Hey there, hold on. Okay, we'll be back in about a minute. Now, listen, I'm going to continue the show after, when I end the radio show, I'm going to continue. So if you're on hold or you want to call in, hang in there. I'll take some calls after the radio show ends. We'll be back in a minute. Because I'm almost out of time. I've got the gold report. I've got another live spot. So, but I'll continue to take calls after the top of the hour, guys, all right? So bear with me. All right, and we are back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It's time to check in with William Youngerman with this morning's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how the metals looking?
Metals looking good. After Friday's big move, we had a little bit of a pullback yesterday. Gold down $5.10, closing out the day at $3,365.20. Silver was down 25 cents at $38.51 the ounce. Platinum closed down $21 at $1,341, and palladium was down $31 at $10,095. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $3,351 on the low to $3,387 on the high. Right now at $3,377, that's up $12. Silver down 11 cents right now at $38.40. Platinum down $1 at $1,340, and palladium down $8 at $1,087. So gold continues in its trading ranges, but very solidly above $3,300 and holding nicely.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. This is the time, guys. You know, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can stop in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto. And when you go into the Bank of America building, William Youngerman is right across the lobby from the bank. You can't miss it. You can also give him a call, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010, and find both his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, you take care. All right, if you're on hold, guys, stand by. We've got we have one opening where William Youngerman was at. But I do want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And if you want to see the miraculous transformation, go on my YouTube channel and go back, 8 months on my YouTube videos and then look at today's video and you'll see a different person. It's amazing. I didn't realize how much weight I needed to lose. I really didn't even realize I needed to lose weight until I saw myself back at the weight I was when I married my wife 29 years ago. It's amazing. And I'm so glad that I found Coastal Weight Loss Secret and I lost all this weight. I mean, I feel better. I've got more energy. I've cut my caffeine content in half by 50%, but I look better too. And when you look better, you feel better, not just physically, but mentally. It's nice. And a lot of times you gain weight so slowly as a person, you may not always realize it, But going back, oh my goodness. It's embarrassing when I look at what I look like 7-8 months ago. It's crazy. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. They can help you no matter where you're located. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian. I'm Thomas, and I'm calling from Ireland, if that's all right.
All right. Thomas in Ireland. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just hoping to talk about climate change, actually, if that's
No,
right,
that's
Brian.
not on the agenda, but we're not talking.
Oh, sorry, I didn't. So is it more the flag, Iran, and Trump?
Well, wherever you're watching or listening, you keep watching, and then you call in when you hear me talk about something you take issue with. But I do want to apologize to you for you having Rosie O'Donnell in Ireland. But could you please keep her? Don't let her come back to America. We don't like her here. You know Rosie O'Donnell?
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah, I know Rosie O'Donnell. She was on the Late Show there, the Late Late Show.
Oh, in Ireland?
Yeah.
She's a terrible person.
Yeah, she was here.
Yeah, she's living there
sure?
now. Oh, yes, I'm sure. Rosie O'Donnell's a terrible person. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but keep her. You guys keep her in Ireland. That's one American we don't miss. Appreciate. But call me again. Watch and listen to me, and then take issue with something I say, and then call in. No, not today. We got a hot topic going on, and we're not gonna. It's open phones is Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hey, Brian. Ivy, good morning.
Hey, Ivy. What's up?
A lot of these soy boys have been calling you. Those are not usually the guys that are going to be in the protest. It's the Antifa type guys and the people that truly hate the country. So this is like those little machines that zap the fly or the bugs at night. So the flag is that zapper. And when the people come to protest, they always go around the flag and burn the flag. So we're going to start rounding some of those people up, identifying them, and it won't be a revolving door like Kamala letting the Summer of Love people out next day to go to the next city the next week. So what we're going to do is round these guys up here on the spot, see who should be thrown out of the country, and that's going to be the beginning of having less protests in the future. The only people are going to be left is the old 60-year-old grannies and so forth.
Yeah.
So we're going to get criminals, and we're going to get the people to deport, and now that all these illegals are gone, we're going to have more room in the jail to house them, and they won't have that bail that they can just get out.
Yeah, no cashless bail. That's right. Hey, you're right. I agree with that part. The cashless bail is history. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Dan from New York.
Hey, Dan, what's up?
What's going on? So I just wanted to give you a theory of mine on why the left is so rabid against President Trump. I think the left has a strong hatred for work and hard work, and they see in President Trump the embodiment of hard work for the American people. And I think that just makes them rabid and upset, and it makes them pee their pants when they see it.
That's part of it. There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, they're not used to Republicans that do what Republicans promise to do. I mean, look at them. They're advocating for criminals. They act as if criminals have a constitutional guarantee to rape, murder, carjack, and all kinds of stuff. Look what they're freaking out about it.
And they're mad that President Trump doesn't want Americans burning the American flag. This is the stance that they're taking.
Yeah, the Hate America First crowd is what we used to call them. They hate America First crowd.
in general.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, this is the greatest country in the world for all kinds of reasons, and they're just spoiled and brainwashed.
I agree 100%. Yeah, I think the left really needs to look in the mirror and see what they're doing is repulsive to most normal people in this country.
Yeah, it's true. All right, well, listen, thanks for the call. Great call.
All right, thanks, Brian.
All right, good. So it's nice to hear from sane people from time to time. I'm so used to hearing from loons. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Braden from Texas.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
So I wanted to start off by saying I voted my first election.
Oh, here we go. Another Trump voter.
I voted for president.
I know you voted for Trump, but now what? Get to the butt part. You voted for Trump, but we're running short on time, so get to the butt. You don't have to do the fake build-up that you're a MAGA guy who's tired of trying.
It was the crypto dumps for me. It was the supporting cryptocurrencies.
Oh, really? Supporting cryptocurrency.
I'm against the...
Really? Let's just play this out. Let's just play this out. You voted for Trump, you're MAGA, but his crypto position. So because of his position on crypto, you're supporting the people that support abortion on demand and taxation and higher taxes? Come on.
No.
Open borders?
No, sir.
So because of your position on crypto, you're going to support open borders? That's just, come on.
No, sir. And I get it. You know, that's how it sounds like. You talk to a lot of Gen Z people who are, pretty incompetent, pretty crazy. I get that. No.
Listen, I agree with, listen, I'm not a big fan of crypto. However, it is what it is. And President Trump, the reason he supports crypto, which I don't think you're aware, but so I'll just tell you instead of asking you because you won't know. The reason that he supports crypto is here to stay, and he would rather crypto businesses be based in the United States mining crypto as opposed to Uzbekistan or something. And that's just it. He's trying to do everything he can do to bring the economy back to the United States that's been spread all over the world. But if you're not supporting Trump, you're supporting open borders.
And that's, I'm not a single party voter. That's not, I don't believe.
Well, yeah, but you're shooting yourself in the foot. What's more important? What's more important, having a closed border or crypto?
What I would say is it's of the whole.
No, of the whole. All right, appreciate the call. Yeah. Oh my goodness. They got this whole thing. They're all disenchanted MAGA people. They supported Trump until this. That's a new one for me though. The crypto. Oh my. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
North Carolina.
All right, go ahead. What's on your mind?
David, North Carolina.
Yeah, David. What's on your mind?
If you support MAGA, you're un-American.
Okay. What, am I supposed to react to that stupid comment?
I was Marine infantry.
So what? So what? Lee Harvey Oswald was in the Marines. Lee Harvey Oswald was in the Marines. What does that mean?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I mean, give me a break. Oh, my goodness. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Isn't that crazy? It's pretty exciting, huh? Another year, we'll hit the big 5-0 half-century mark, and that's exciting. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Till then, take care, everyone. God bless America. Protect our flag, and God bless President Donald John Trump, the 45th and 47th President of the United States. See you tomorrow at 6 a.m. All right, we're clear. I'm going to go back to the phones. This is just on YouTube now. The radio show's in, but I'm going to continue a little longer, so let's go. If you want to call in, please do. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lynn from Boynton.
Hey, Lynn. What's up?
Hey, talking about burning the flag, which is the most disgusting thing ever, when we were growing up, I'm in my mid-70s, we weren't even allowed to wear like flag hats or bathing suits or shirts or anything. You could wear red, white, and blue, but anything that was a flag that was made into something to wear was very disrespectful. And I'm from a Democratic state, Rhode Island, and back then you could get arrested for just wearing anything that was made from a flag, plain and simple. That was it. And you didn't disrespect the flag or America.
Wait a minute. You mean made of a flag or had the flag on it?
No. If you, like a lot of people back then would make outfits like a shirt or a bathing suit or a hat or whatever, a scarf or something. If it was made out of an actual flag, you could go to jail for that.
How common is that? I've never even seen clothing made from an actual flag that you could put on the pole.
Yeah, well, back then a lot of clothes weren't made, like they are now, and everything. And people, and maybe they were haters of the flag who did it. I don't remember.
Here's the thing about this. If you missed the first hour and a half to 2 hours of today's show, any of it, go back and rewind the show and watch it from the beginning, because I spent 90 minutes going over this issue in a way that you've never heard before, and I'm not going to do all that over now, but go back and listen to the show. Yeah. But here's the thing. The reason President Trump signed that executive order was not just because it's the right thing to do. He's smoking out all these liberals so the country can see these hate America people on the left. They're all going to be burning flags now, and then they're going to post it on social media. And President Trump, it's part of President Trump's midterm election victory plan, right? He's going to rid the blue cities of crime. D.C., Chicago's next. Who knows what's after Chicago? And then he's going to so he's going to turn these blue cities into MAGA cities. Then and he's showing these hate America people that are going to be burning our great flag that the American people love so much. It's part of the midterm election campaign strategy.
Well, I'll tell you, you can't go wrong with President Trump. And I don't care what anybody says, and I don't even care of all the people I've lost along the way who disagree with me, and if people can't see the good he's doing, and I tell people, like the man or not, you cannot deny that he is doing good for our country, plain and simple, period.
That's right.
And they just go, yeah, all right,
Yeah, no, that's right. No, you're right.
I think people just don't understand. They just think it is a flag. And they don't understand the whole thing.
Well, what I talked about a lot is, they say, oh well, no, it's. Oh, hold on, I lost the call. They say it's free speech. The Supreme Court did not say that you can go and commit arson on public sidewalks surrounded by hundreds of screaming people at a political protest. The Supreme Court ruling allows you to burn the flag under certain instances where it's legal to burn things. Flag etiquette. Yeah. When I was young and I was in Scouts, they used to teach us flag etiquette, right? They probably don't teach that anymore outside of the military, but the proper way to dispose of the flag of the United States is burning it.
Yes, but it's burning it with the governmental or the army or whoever. There is a process to go through that.
There's a process, but you can burn. It's like in some, taking it away from the flag. We on garbage days we take our trash out to the street, for the garbage trucks. But it is legal to burn trash in certain ways and in certain places and such, but you can't just go burn your trash anywhere.
No.
Okay?
And with a permit.
Yes. So flag burning's the same thing. And you just can't go on a public sidewalk, get out some gasoline or kerosene, put it on a flag, and then commit arson. And people, even a lot of Republicans this is why I talked about this so much today. Even a lot of Republicans think that the Supreme Court says that you can go out and be a pyromaniac arsonist anywhere you want in America as long as you're doing it with a flag of the United States.
Oh, boy.
That's not what they said.
Well, it's funny because when you read back in the Constitution and all of that, when you start digging in between the lines of everything, you can interpret a lot of things differently. But when you really get into it, you see that back then everything was so really straightforward. It was just the language they used. And it's like you can't do this because of that. They give you the reasons and everything, but people just overstep and they just don't want to hear it. They just want to, free speech doesn't mean that you can say anything that's on your mind, no matter how mad you are, or one caller. You see, you got to use other examples, like I did with the. I was talking to a caller earlier. You can burn the flag. I said, it's not illegal to have sex, right? He says, no. I said, but what if you have sex on a public sidewalk in front of the White House? What happens? You get arrested. So just because something's legal doesn't mean you can do it anywhere you want. Right. Well, see, that's the whole thing. It's all blown out of proportion, everything. They take one little thing and say, well, that means this. No, it doesn't, Well, how come? If you can think that, I can think that.
Smoking's legal, but there's lots of places you can't smoke. You can't smoke in restaurants. You can't smoke on airplanes. When I was a kid, people smoked on airplanes. It sucked. It was back in those days. Remember those?
Elevators.
Yes.
And also in elevators, and I never smoked cigarettes, and I'd be sitting there going, oh, my lungs will be worse than yours,
Exactly. So just because something's legal doesn't mean, it's not illegal to go to the bathroom, but you can't go to the bathroom in public. You can't,
Oh, you better tell some people out here in Florida about that.
Well, not in my part of Florida.
But,
yeah.
But
you know what I mean.
It's interesting to just think how people don't, realize. They just don't think first. They just do, and then they go, "Oh, I don't know
the
that."
reason listen, I had no intention on making a prolonged discussion about this issue, but when you go back and watch the show, there was an article on Fox where they quoted a whole bunch of conservatives, Dana Loesch, Jesse Kelly, many other well-known conservatives who were taking issue with the president on this First Amendment. And a lot of them are millennials and Gen Z, and they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. They've been brainwashed in the media and the liberal college education system, and they haven't thought it through by the like this conversation you and I have just had. And and that's why I brought it up today. I didn't think it was. I was surprised to hear so many conservative voices have such juvenile interpretations of burning the flag and the Supreme Court ruling.
Yes. It's just, I don't know. Where the hell are the parents, Brian? To these kids. I mean, if this was me back in my day, being raised by my parents, they would be saying, where were you and why do you smell like smoke? Or, you know what I mean? They'd be asking the questions.
Exactly.
Did you, and stuff. And these kids have they can't discipline the children because of the government anymore. So the kids just go amok and think whatever the heck they want.
That's right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. You make a very good call. Good points. Yeah, this is the post show, guys. And, if you can tell, I've been starting the show early and going long. I've turned our 3-hour show into a 4-hour show. So make sure you're subscribed. Get that notification bell clicked so you get a notification when I go live. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Brian, and I'm calling from Eugene, Oregon, and you're a friggin' bootlicker.
Really? Whose boots am I licking?
You want to know something? I'll burn the flag just in protest, and I'll show you what America does to dictators. You fucking bootlicker.
Who's a dictator?
Trump is.
Okay. Now again, maybe you're probably
relearn what America does.
No, hold on a second here.
Listen, buddy.
Hold on. No, excuse me. You listen. Maybe you're a little more informed than I am. Oh, I've lost track of which line he's on. Is it this line? Is this the bootlicker guy? Which one's the bootlicker? I lost track of which line he's on. Is this the bootlicking guy? I guess not. He hung up. I was going to ask him to. He hung up. I was going to ask him to define for me what a dictator is and how Trump fits that definition. Dictators don't have to answer to federal judges and a Congress. They just rule without any checks and balances. Okay? And President Trump just had a federal judge the other day said he got to close down Alligator Alcatraz. A dictator doesn't care what judges say. They overrule the judges just with an edict. He's talking about getting things passed through Congress. Dictators don't get things passed through Congress. Okay? They just do it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barb in Baltimore. Thanks for my call. I didn't realize you stayed on after the show is over. But what a great show. I'm a real patriot. I love the flag. I love what President Trump is doing. I don't know. There's nothing short-sighted about loving this country and really having the flag and respecting the flag. I grew up, of course, I'm a grandmother, so we said the Pledge of Allegiance every day, sang Star Spangled Banner in school, and that was public school in New York City, Queens. So it was just the way it was, and we love the country, and it's something that we were taught. And a lot of your callers have called in and said this. They don't even teach civics. They don't teach the Constitution. They don't teach love of country.
No.
So what President Trump is doing is absolutely, I think, laying the trap for these people. We need to know not just the Americans who are un-American. We need to know people who are here on student visas and visitors, people who should not be here and who can be put out of here for burning the flag.
That's correct.
And with burning that flag to cause violence, to me, it's the same thing like yelling fire in a theater. What's the difference?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's meant to incite violence. And I think what he's doing is going to force this back to the Supreme Court. And in the meantime, like you said, it is something to run on. Patriotism and love of this country. This is the greatest country in
Even
the world.
if the Supreme Court overrules him, running on patriotism and love of America and our flag, that seems like a pretty good campaign to run on to me.
Absolutely. And with all the violence that's going on, anything that's inciting violence, this is the time to introduce this bill is right now. And I'm hoping, I know he's going to come to Baltimore now. I know he's coming to Maryland.
You know what? I'm not a constitutionalist or lawyer, expert. I'm not a constitutional. I'm a constitutionalist in that I support the Constitution, but I'm not an expert on it or a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times, the Supreme Court will make a ruling based on existing law. I don't think there's been federal legislation passed through Congress and signed into law by the president to outlaw flag burning. And probably this is the beginning of President Trump getting a law passed by Congress that he'll sign outlawing flag desecration. And the Supreme Court has not ruled on that.
Well, it certainly hasn't been put to the test of use for inciting violence. For that purpose.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that it bears a lot of benefits because of the violence that we're living through. And, of course, here in this city, in the state of Maryland, because Baltimore City is by no means the only part of Maryland that is being plagued with crime. This is a statewide thing. So, but anyway, I just wanted to say that. And also, if someone wants to properly get rid of a flag, take it to any American Legion or VFW. That's Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
And they will properly dispose of your flag.
That is true. All right, I appreciate the call, Barbara. Good to hear from you.
Day.
All right, you too. Barbara from Baltimore. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Quincy. I'm calling from the great state of Texas.
All right, Texas. What's on your mind?
I would like to know, after Trump's finished cleaning up all the crimes that he had gone into these communities and cleaning up, do you think he should start going after white collar crimes?
They already go after white collar crimes. See, the reason he did.
No.
Yeah, they do. Sure, they go after white collar criminals all the time.
But it's not televised like it is. Like, why is it not?
Well,
to the extent
because
of what they're doing now. Why not running into
what's
white
happened? White communities. White collar crime is not crime committed by white people.
Man, y'all were in the country for so long.
The white collar means like office shirts, fancy shirts like you wear to the office.
But in our country, y'all know y'all are the top of the food chain as far as financially because y'all made it that way.
What are you talking about? You know, P. Diddy's like a billionaire. He's a billionaire, P. Diddy.
Yeah, that's entertainment. But how many white families have land passed down? Like
I haven't had land. Listen. I got news for you. No. This is no. Slow down for a second.
My great grandparents couldn't even own a house or own land, or if they did, they probably got it taken. Think about how many families. Y'all talk all this stuff, but how many of y'all got passed down?
Excuse me. Are you? Let me. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Are you aware? Are you aware that black men could vote before women in this country? Did you know that?
What does it have to do with?
Stop living in the past, man. Well, a lot of people, a lot of liberal blacks believe that white people that were all like the Trumps or the Kennedys, and we have trust funds. Very few white people have this legacy wealth that you're fantasizing about.
Very few. Very few. Come on, man. Very few.
Yeah.
It's so many. It's so many.
Well, there's a lot of rich people in the country, but very few white people have this institutionalized wealth handed down to them.
If we rewind time, and the white race has more and more power the further we go back. How are you saying that they didn't pass down these?
No. What I'm telling you is the rich and throughout time have always been the minority of the people. Okay, the rich people, just like now, and a lot of people that are black, like you, think that most white people have like trust funds and stuff. That's not true.
It doesn't have to be. They don't necessarily have to be rich. It could just be well off. It could be.
You know what? My parents didn't even go to college. I'm the first one in my family to go to college.
What state are you from?
I'm originally from Ohio, and I live in Florida now. My father is a Vietnam veteran. My mother raised me. Neither of my parents went to college. They both had high school educations.
13 years in the military, 2 tours in Iraq.
Well, yeah. Well, that's great.
And I come back and you see. Imagine what it feels like to do something, to love your country and do something for the love, and not just for one race or just for people that look like you. You do it for everybody. Because I'm an '80s baby.
Yeah, well, okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. You got that. You went in the service. You got your GI Bill. You've got opportunities that I didn't have, and you're a black man. You got the GI Bill. You got your college education taken care of if you so choose, or a trade school. I had to pay my way and work my way through college. Okay, myself with my own money. You get all kinds of veterans. Excuse me.
Do you know how many days I worked?
So what? But you still got it. I have to pay out of my own pocket for college. You've got all kinds of. You talk about home ownership.
You don't get it for free.
You've got all these. Excuse me. You've got access to all these VA loans to buy a home that I don't have because I'm not a veteran. So you as a black man have more opportunity of wealth handed to you than I do as a white guy.
So you think now the benefits that I have, if we start rewinding time, are they always the same for black soldiers?
Always?
Or do they get worse?
What are you talking about? In the past? I'm talking about now.
But we're talking. But see, everything that is now is because of what's happened before.
No.
So you said
not in the way you think.
You said that I have all these benefits.
Yes, you do. Right? Veterans benefits that you earned and are entitled to.
Exactly. So if you rewind time on black soldiers, the benefits get worse and worse.
Well, if you go back in time for everyone, it gets worse and worse unless you're from some old blue blood family like the Kennedys.
White soldiers had access to all their benefits. The black soldiers did not.
You can't.
Y'all are so dismissive.
You just don't understand. Do you understand? You understand that you live in 2025 and you want to pretend it's 1925. You got to live in the now. You're like Joy Reid. You're living in the past.
There's no future without the past.
There's no future without the past. You got a lot of catchphrases. Are you a poet?
The past, something like that. The past, but you can also tell by the past that evil does not staying power.
So what did you do? What did you do with your GI Bill? Did you get an education with your GI Bill?
I got to do some schoolwork tomorrow. I'm in school right now.
How long have you been out of the service?
I got out I got out in 2013.
Okay, so you've been out 12 years, but now you're using the GI Bill to get a college education or trade school?
I'm in college. I'm going to school to support my family.
Well, that's good.
I already have
That's good.
I'm a licensed barber, so going to school now. I'm just.
Barber school that's a great trade. That's a great trade. So but you understand, you got to stop living in the past and live in the now.
I don't have a driver's license. You know why? Because being in the military, making all that money, and Houston is real big on car culture. Every time I come here with those nice cars, I was coming here with those nice cars in my 20s.
What'd you do?
Pull his black ass over. His black ass over. He must be a drug dealer.
You've got a criminal record? You've got a criminal record?
I ain't never seen the inside of
Well, why do you not have a driver's license?
Because they kept pulling me over.
For what?
What
were you charged with?
Driving while black.
No, that's not a crime. What were you charged with? What's on your record? So is your license suspended or revoked? Is your license suspended or revoked?
It's suspended.
For how long?
Yeah.
For how long?
I don't know. I don't care.
You don't know? Come on. You've got a suspended license. What was this? What was it suspended for?
I don't need a license. Hold on.
What does it say on your driver's license record for the reason of the suspension?
A driver's license.
Why was your license suspended?
Because I refused to go to. I wasn't going to court or paying no tickets.
For what?
For what?
What? No. What would you have to go to? What did the man want you to go to court for? Oh my goodness.
Someone were for maybe no insurance one or.
You were driving without insurance?
Driving without no license.
You were driving without a license and insurance?
This is once my license got suspended. I doubt if I didn't have insurance or.
So you didn't lose your license for being black. You were driving with a suspended license and without insurance, and then you didn't show up to court.
They pulled me over because I was black.
Well, then go to court.
For what? For what?
Listen, a few years back, I got pulled over by a couple of police officers. They said that I didn't stop at a stop sign. I did. I stopped. They were white, I'm white. But I did stop at the stop sign. In fact, I went out of my way to stop because I saw that they were scoping out the stop sign. I stopped. They pulled me over. I had an eyeglass restriction on I wear glasses. You see me on YouTube. These are reading glasses. Far away, I have 20/20 vision. Okay? But I had LASIK vision correction, and my license said that I needed to wear glasses to drive, which I don't. So not only did I get a ticket, the ticket was a misdemeanor charge, driving without glasses. I had to get a lawyer and go to court. And I went to my doctor that gave me LASIK, and he signed a note saying I had LASIK vision correction. I have 20/20 vision. And my lawyer submitted it to the judge. And the ticket was thrown out. If it wasn't, my license would have been suspended too. Your license is suspended because you didn't go to court. You got your license suspended. It has nothing to do with history and slavery and stuff. You just didn't go to court.
Go to court for what?
You said you were stopped for driving without a license and without insurance.
I don't know. So you don't know what racism smells like. You can't smell that shit when a cop pulls you over, and you can just smell it. You don't even know what it feels like. It's sad.
I know. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you.
Let me give you a quick. You not feel sorry for me. Let me give you a quick story about yesterday. A few days ago. It's real quick. Okay, I'm in a gas station. It's a Hispanic lady, and the Hispanic people, some of them have they have what y'all have, like some of what y'all have. They have a really distinct hate for us. Okay, so I asked the lady, can I go to the restroom? I go to the restroom. There's a lady with one leg in a wheelchair laid out in front of the restroom. And the lady followed me to the restroom for some reason. Then she sees this lady laid on the ground. The lady's not directly in front of the door, so I kind of sidestep. I go in, because I really had to pee. I go in there, I pee, and come out. The lady that works in the store starts telling me, oh, you don't even care about her. You just stepped over her and go to the restroom. Bitch, you work here. You wouldn't even, if I wouldn't have asked you to go to the restroom and you didn't follow me, she wouldn't have even seen this lady on the floor.
Listen. This is the problem. Here's the problem. Okay, hold on. I'm short on time because I got to run soon. But what you said, I believe your story. But what you're dealing with is a rude woman, and no matter what, and we all, and hold on a second, hold on. We all run into jerks. But you, hold on.
You don't know what it feels like.
But you see every exchange as racism. And it's not. Sometimes you're just dealing with an asshole.
You don't know what it smells like.
Yeah, I do. You've got racial problems. You racially stereotype everything and everyone. Hey, appreciate the call. Yeah. Oh boy. If you're new to my program, make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. And make sure you click that notification bell, because if you notice, I've expanded the show to 4 hours. So you'll get a notification when I go live in the morning. All right. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll talk to you next time.